Introduction: The Awakening of the Commander. Welcome to the threshold of your true nature. If you have this audiobook in your hands or in your ears, it is because your soul has grown tired of playing small. It is because you have grown tired of living at the mercy of circumstances, like a dry leaf swept away by the wind, waiting for luck or fate to have mercy on you. For years you have been taught to pray from a place of supplication. You have been taught to ask life with your head bowed, with a trembling voice and with fear in your throat, hoping that, if you are good enough, the universe will grant you a miracle. But I have news that will change the very structure of your reality. The universe does not respond to supplication. It responds to the command. The universe is not a judging father who decides if you behaved well to give you a reward. The universe is an infinite, impartial, and perfect machinery of law and execution. It is a quantum mirror that does not have the capacity to decide for you. It only has the capacity to reflect you. If you ask from necessity, the mirror returns more necessity to you. If you ask from doubt, the mirror returns confusion. But if you decree from authority, the mirror has no choice by physical and spiritual law but to reorganize matter to fulfill your will. This audiobook is not a soft self-help manual. It is an operations manual to awaken the commander who sleeps inside you. Until today, you have been a captain who murmurs contradictory orders to his crew. You say, "I want wealth," but your heart screams, "I am afraid of poverty." You say, "I want love," but your vibration emits, "I am not worthy." And the universe, confused by your incoherence, has given you a chaotic and halfway life. That ends today. In the next chapters, we are going to dismantle the victim and we are going to build the creator. You will learn the secret that ancient mystery schools kept under lock and key, the irrevocable decree. You will discover that a decree is not simply thinking positive or repeating words like a parrot. An irrevocable decree is an act of nuclear fusion between the electrical thought of your mind and the magnetic feeling of your heart. When you achieve that concordance, when what you think and what you feel align in a single arrow of fire, nothing in this world can stop its materialization. Not the economy, nor your past, nor human logic. Get ready. We are going to clean your vocabulary of weak words. We are going to train your emotion so that it stops reacting to the world and starts creating it. We are going to teach you to sign your desires with the indelible ink of absolute faith. Adjust your posture. Lift your head. Breathe deeply. The universe is waiting for your instructions, but this time you are not going to ask for a favor. This time you are going to issue a law. Welcome to the irrevocable decree. Your command begins now. Chapter 1: The Physics of the Word. Your word is law. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. This phrase, which opens the Gospel of John, is not simply a religious or poetic introduction. It is a coded scientific formula. It is the oldest and most precise technical description of how the quantum reality in which you live actually functions. Before matter, the flesh, can exist. Vibration, the word, must exist. Welcome to the engine room of creation. Today we are going to dismantle the childish idea that words are just air. We have been taught that words serve to describe reality. We use language as a label that we put on things that already exist. But the irrevocable decree is based on an inverse and terrifying premise for the ego. Words do not describe reality. Words prescribe reality. You do not say, "I have no money," because your account is empty. Your account is empty because you have spent years saying and vibrating, "I have no money." It sounds crazy, doesn't it? Your logical mind will tell you that the cause is the bank balance and the effect is your complaint. But metaphysics, and now quantum physics, reveal to us that the observer and their definition of the event are what collapse the wave function. In this chapter, we are going to study the physics of the word. We are going to understand why your throat is literally a dimensional portal. We are going to discover why the universe has no sense of humor, why it does not understand sarcasm, and why it takes every syllable that comes out of your mouth as a judicial order that must be executed without delay. The anatomy of vibration, sound as a mold. To understand the power of the decree, we must first understand what sound is. If you could see the world at a subatomic level, you would not see solid objects. You would see an infinite ocean of energy vibrating at different speeds. As the great Nikola Tesla said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of vibration. Everything you call solid matter is simply frozen sound. It is energy vibrating at a frequency slow enough for your senses to perceive it as hard. Now then, what occurs when you introduce a new sound into an environment of matter? There is a science called cymatics. In classic cymatics experiments, sand is placed on a metal plate, and the plate is made to vibrate with different sound frequencies. When a low and disordered tone is emitted, the sand forms chaotic patterns. But when a high, harmonic and sustained frequency is emitted, the sand magically reorganizes itself before your eyes. It forms perfect geometric mandalas and complex structures. The sand does not have a brain. It does not decide to move. The sand is a slave to vibration. Frequency dictates form. Sound is the architect. Matter is just the obedient brick. You are that metal plate, your life is the sand, and your voice is the frequency generator. Every time you open your mouth to speak, you are emitting an acoustic wave that travels through the air, and most importantly, through your own body, which is 70% water, a perfect conductor of sound. That wave does not disappear when you stop hearing it. That wave impacts the quantum matrix of your reality. It hits the atoms of your body. It hits the electromagnetic field of the people around you, and it reorganizes the sand of your circumstances. If your words are chaotic, I'm fed up, everything goes wrong, you are creating chaotic sand patterns in your life. You are decreeing disorder. If your words are precise, harmonic, and authoritative, I am abundance, God, everything is in my favor, you are forcing the sand of your reality to form a perfect geometry of success. This is not a metaphor, it is mechanics. The irrevocable decree is the conscious use of this mechanics. It is about stopping the release of noise to the universe and starting to release music. It is understanding that your voice is the most potent sculpting tool you possess. Abracadabra, the etymology of the magician. Popular culture has made us believe that magic is a matter of fairy tales. We see magicians in movies waving wands and saying strange words. But did you know that the quintessential magic word, abracadabra, has a real and deep origin? It comes from ancient Aramaic, the language Jesus spoke, and the original phrase is avracadabra. Do you know what it literally means? It means, I create as I speak. Think about it for a second. I create as I speak. It does not say, I describe as I speak. It says, I create. The ancient sages knew that speech is the final act of the gestation of an idea. A thought is electrical and volatile. An emotion is magnetic and diffuse. But a word is the fusion of both, expelled into the physical world through the breath of life. To speak is to give birth. When you say a word, you are birthing a reality. That is why, in all mystical traditions, silence was gold. Initiates spent years in vows of silence, not to punish themselves, but to learn to save ammunition. They understood that every word is a psychic bullet. If you go through life firing words at random, complaining about traffic, insulting a politician, self-deprecating, you are wasting your creative gunpowder on destroying your own life. You are creating monsters unconsciously. The commander, the magician, the master of the law of attraction, is extremely stingy with his words. He only speaks when what he is going to say is more beautiful or more constructive than silence. And when he speaks to decree, he does not hesitate. He knows his avracadabra is working in real time. He knows that at the moment of pronouncing I am rich, the invisible gears of the cosmos have begun to turn to validate it. Language sabotage. Your complaints are decrees. Here we reach the most painful and necessary point of this chapter. We have to audit your current language. Most people believe they think positive because they do 10 minutes of affirmations in the morning. They say, I am prosperous, I am health, but then they spend the remaining 15 hours and 50 minutes contradicting it. They use what I call hallway decrees. You get to work and say, ugh, how lazy I feel, I hate Mondays. Decree granted, your week will be heavy and miserable. You watch the news and say, the economy is terrible, everything is getting more expensive. Decree granted, your money will lose value. You look in the mirror and say, I'm so fat, I look so tired. Decree granted, your metabolism slows down and your cells age to prove you right. You meet a friend and start to compete to see who is worse off. Decree granted, you attract more misfortunes to win the victim competition. The universe is a literal servant. It does not judge if what you ask for is good or bad for you. It only hears the order and executes it. The universe does not understand a complaint as a venting of frustration. The universe understands a complaint as a request for confirmation. When you say, "I always have bad luck," the universe takes out its notebook and says, "Understood." The commander affirms they have bad luck. Let's send 3 unforeseen events, a fine and a flu, to confirm the order. Move out. Do you realize the terrifying power you have been using against yourself? You have been using the wand of power to hit yourself on the head day after day, and then you wonder why you do not manifest. You do not manifest your desires because your unconscious decrees, your complaints, are much more frequent and intense than your conscious decrees. You win the war by volume of fire, and 90% of your fire is friendly fire. You are shooting yourself. The first step to mastering the irrevocable decree is the fasting of complaints. You have to turn off the poison tap. If you cannot say something that raises the vibration, be quiet. It is preferable to seem serious or quiet for a time than to keep cursing your future with a loose tongue. Every time you catch yourself about to complain, bite your tongue, literally, stop the pattern, say, "I erase, cancel, and nullify that statement," and change it immediately for its opposite. How expensive this is becomes, "I erase that. Money flows to me and I can afford the best." At first you will feel fake. Your ego will say, "But it is true that it's expensive. Don't lie to yourself." Tell your ego, "I am not describing the present, I am prescribing the future." Shut up. The physics of time, the merciful delay. Now then, a logical question arises. If my word is law, why when I say I want an elephant, does an elephant not appear in my living room instantly? And the answer is, thank God it doesn't. We live in a dense plane of existence. Matter has inertia. There is a safety mechanism called the buffer of time. Imagine that every stupid or fearful thought you had manifested instantly. If you thought, "I wish I were dead," in a moment of rage, you would drop dead. If you thought, "I'm afraid there's a monster," the monster would appear. The human race would have been extinct millennia ago. The delay of time is a mercy. It allows us to rectify. It allows only the thoughts and words that are sustained, repeated, and charged with emotion to reach materialization. It is like filling a glass of water drop by drop. One drop, one word, does not fill the glass. But if you keep dripping day after day, inevitably the glass overflows. Most people fill the glass halfway with positive decrees, "I am rich," and then they kick the glass with negative decrees, "This doesn't work," and they start from zero again. They never overflow the glass. The irrevocable decree consists of keeping the water flow constant, without kicks to the glass. Physics guarantees the overflow. The name of God, the I Am code. In metaphysics, there are 2 words considered the most powerful in the human vocabulary. They are the master key of creation, I Am. In the Bible, when Moses asks God for his name, the voice answers, "I am that I am." This is not a proper name. It is a declaration of existence. I Am is the name of creative consciousness. What is fascinating is that you use the name of God hundreds of times a day to blaspheme. You do not blaspheme when you say insults. You blaspheme when you use I Am to limit yourself. Every time you say I am poor, I am sickly, or I am a mess, you are taking the name of divinity and sticking a label of limitation on it. You are using the infinite power of God to create smallness. The law is this: everything that follows the words I am will seek you out and find you. It is a search and capture order for the universe. If you say I am forgetful, the universe will make sure you lose your keys to fulfill your identity order. The irrevocable decree always starts with a redefinition of the self. Stop saying I want to be rich. Want implies that you are not. Want is a decree of lack. If you say I want water, you are affirming I do not have water. The universe will give you more feeling of wanting, which means more thirst. You must switch to identity mode. I am wealth. I am perfect health. even if your senses tell you otherwise. Remember, the word does not describe what you are, it creates what you are. You have to dare to use I am before having the physical evidence. That is the daring of the commander. The neuroscience of the decree, reprogramming the RAS. For the skeptics who need a biological explanation, here it is. Your brain has a filter called the reticular activating system, RAS. Its function is to filter the millions of bits of information you receive every second so you don't go crazy. It only lets through what it considers important. How does it know what is important? You tell it with your words. If you spend the day saying people are mean, you have programmed your RAS to look for meanness. You will enter a party with 100 wonderful people and one toxic person, and your brain will focus with laser vision on the toxic one. You had a filter. The irrevocable decree reprograms the RAS. When you start to decree I am lucky, at first your brain resists, but if you persist, the RAS changes the filter. It starts to scan the environment looking for fortune. Suddenly, you see the business opportunity that was always there. Your word has cleaned your lenses, the blood covenant with your word. To close this first chapter, I need you to make a pact of honor with yourself. From this moment on, your word is sacred. Your word is a contract. If you say you are going to do something, do it. If you decree something, hold it. When your word and your acts align, you acquire personal power. Personal. The universe trusts those who respect their own word. If you lie to yourself, you say, tomorrow I start the diet, and you don't start, you are teaching your subconscious that your word is worth nothing, that it is noise. When you try to decree, I am a millionaire, your subconscious will laugh and say, I don't believe you. For the decree to be irrevocable, the issuer of the decree must have integrity. Start by fulfilling your small promises. Reclaim the value of your voice. Make your yes be yes and your no be no. When your subconscious learns that what you say happens, then you will have unlocked the true power of the magician. Chapter 2. The Equation of Creation, Thought plus Emotion. You learned that sound and language do not describe the world, they shape it, just as vibration shapes sand on a somatic plate. You have the mold, you have the structure, you have the architectural blueprint. But if you look around, you will see many people talking positive, repeating affirmations like parrots in front of the mirror. I am rich, I am rich, I am rich. And yet they remain broke, frustrated, and trapped in the same grey reality. Why does the formula fail for them? Why does your decree sometimes fall like a dead bird? The answer lies in basic physics. They lack the electricity. A perfect blueprint does not build a skyscraper if there is no energy to move the cranes. A sports car does not move without gasoline, no matter how shiny its bodywork is. Today, we enter the laboratory of internal alchemy to discover the equation of creation. This equation is simple to write, but it requires mastery to execute. Electrical intention, thought, plus magnetic signature, emotion, manifestation. If you fail on either side of the addition, the result will always be zero. Today you will learn why your brain and heart have been divorced and how to celebrate their mystic wedding. The brain and the heart, the human battery. To understand how the universe works, you must first understand that you are a biological transmission tower. This is not a New Age metaphor, it is biophysics. Your body emits a measurable electromagnetic field. The word electromagnetic has two parts, electro and magnetic. The electrical component, the brain. Every time you have a thought, your neurons fire an electrical charge. Thought is the directional impulse. It is the arrow. It defines the objective. When you think, I want that red car, you are sending an electrical signal to the quantum field with precise information. The brain is the architect, the magnetic component, the heart. This is where most fail. The heart is not just a pump. The HeartMath Institute has scientifically proven that the heart generates a magnetic field 5,000 times more powerful than that of the brain. Read that again, 5,000 times. If thought is the arrow, the emotion of the heart is the bow. Or better yet, it is the giant magnet that attracts the target to you. Emotion is the vibratory how. it is the signal strength. The universe works like a radio. Your brain tunes the station, the idea, but your heart controls the volume and the power. If you think about money but feel fear, what do you think the universe hears? It hears the noise. It hears the fear. Because the magnetic signal of the heart, 5,000 times stronger, always cancels out the electrical signal of the brain. This is the tragedy of the modern positive thinker. They spend 1 hour visualizing wealth, but spend the other 23 hours feeling a knot in their stomach over debt. The heart wins. Fear wins. The giant magnet crushes the small electrical spark, and the universe, faithful to its law, manifests what you feel, not what you think. The lie of the cold affirmation. This leads us to dismantle one of the biggest myths of superficial self-help, the cold affirmation. Repeating a phrase 1,000 times is useless if there is no emotional charge behind it, or worse, if the emotional charge is contradictory. Imagine you are in a restaurant and the waiter, the universe, is waiting for your order. You say verbally, "I want the lobster," verbal decree. But while you say it, your body trembles, you make gestures of disgust, and you push the plate away with your hands, emotional vibration. The waiter will ignore your words and take the plate away because your body language, your real vibration, tells him that you do not want it. When you stand before the mirror and say, "I am a magnet for money," but inside you feel like a fraud or feel the pressure of lack, you are emitting a mixed signal. You are stepping on the accelerator, thought, and the brake, emotion, at the same time. What happens to a car when you do that? It makes a lot of noise, burns the engine, wastes gasoline, but does not move. That is what you feel now, isn't it? Exhaustion. You feel you do a lot spiritually, but you don't advance. It is because you are in a constant energetic short circuit. The equation of creation demands coherence. Coherence is the state in which what you think, what you say, and what you feel are perfectly aligned in the same direction. When you achieve coherence, the car stops burning rubber and shoots toward the horizon. The mystic marriage, thought plus feeling. Ancient alchemists spoke of the sacred marriage between the king, sun mind, and the queen, moon emotion. They said that only when the king and queen joined in the bridal chamber was the golden child, the philosopher's stone or manifestation, born. Translated to the language of the irrevocable decree, you must make your heart fall in love with the idea of your mind. Your masculine mind, electrical, presents an idea to the feminine heart, magnetic. Look, heart, what do you think if we are financially free? If the heart responds with fear, no, it's dangerous, we can't. There is no conception, there is no child. You as commander must seduce your own heart. You must present the image of desire with such detail, beauty, and security that the heart opens, becomes excited, and says, "Yes, I want to feel that." The moment your heart beats faster for a positive idea, the moment your skin crawls, fertilization has occurred. The idea has ceased to be an intellectual concept and has become a vibratory seed. The equation has been completed. Thought, 1, plus emotion, 1, manifestation, 2. The trap of incorrect emotion, longing versus gratitude. Here we enter dangerous territory. Many will say, "But I put in a lot of emotion. I desire my goal with all my soul. I cry asking for it. I suffer for not having it. That is intense emotion." Yes, it is intense emotion, but it is the wrong emotion. The law of attraction responds to the quality of your vibration, not your wanting. There are 2 types of intense emotions you can use as fuel, but one leads to heaven and the other to hell. The emotion of absence, longing need. This is what most use. You think of money and feel anguish because it's not there. You think of an ex and feel pain because they left. You are emitting a powerful magnetic signal of void. The universe receives that signal and says, "Understood. The commander is vibrating in I lack." You suffer a lot, you vibrate a lot, but you vibrate on the frequency of lack. You are decreeing poverty with great emotional force. The emotion of presence, gratitude, joy. This is the master's key. You must be able to feel the emotion you would feel if you already had the desire before having it. How would you feel if you were called right now to say you won 10 million? Would you feel longing? No, you would feel euphoria, relief, and security. You would feel an immense urge to say thank you. That is the magnetic signature you must duplicate. The irrevocable decree does not work by saying, "Please, universe, give me this thing I lack." It works by saying, "Thank you, universe, because this is already mine," and feeling the real shiver of possession. You must hack your emotional system. Your brain does not distinguish between a real experience and one lived intensely in the imagination. If you generate the chemistry of gratitude in your body without anything happening outside, the universe has no choice but to bring the event to justify that chemistry. The ignition technique, how to start the engine. Now for the practice. How do you fuse thought and emotion at will? You cannot simply say, "I'm going to feel happy," and expect it to happen. Emotion is a wild animal. It obeys stimuli, not direct orders. I will teach you the ignition technique. Use it every time you launch an irrevocable decree. Step 1. Electrical clarity, the script. Define exactly what you want. Write it in a short present tense phrase. Example: I am the owner of a successful business that invoices X per month. This prepares the brain. It loads the weapon. Step 2. Accessing emotional memory. Before saying the decree, forget it for a second. Close your eyes and find a moment in your past where you felt explosive joy, deep love, or immense gratitude. The birth of a child, a first kiss, a moment of uncontrollable laughter. Relive it. Feel the heat in your chest. You are starting the magnetic motor. You are raising your base frequency. Step 3. The fusion, the shot. When you are at the peak of that borrowed emotion, when you feel invincible and happy, insert your decree. Take that energy and project it toward your future image. Say your phrase, "I am abundance," but say it riding the wave of that emotion. Trick your mind. Associate the chemistry of pleasure with the idea of your goal. Do this until you feel an internal click, a kind of relief or explosion. In that moment, you have burned the mark into the ether. You have printed the matrix. The thought has been magnetized. The danger of incoherent obsession. A vital warning. The equation requires faith, not obsession. Obsession is fear in disguise. If you spend the day checking if your manifestation has arrived, you are canceling the decree. Imagine you plant a seed, the magnetized thought. If every 5 minutes you dig it up to see if it has roots, you kill it. Anxiety is the antidote to creation. Anxiety tells the universe, "I don't trust you to do it, so I have to watch you." The correct post-decree emotion is calm. Yes, during the decree, you use high energy, but once launched, the residual emotion must be peace and certainty. It is the feeling of job done. It is the feeling of having placed an order on Amazon. You don't feel euphoria the whole time you wait for the package. You feel the tranquility of knowing it's coming. If you are still anxious after decreeing, you haven't decreed. You have begged. Do it again. Raise the energy until you reach certainty. The heart as a dimensional portal. Scientists have discovered that the heart has its own little brain with about 40,000 neurons. They have memory and take decisions independently of the head. This heart brain is your direct connection to infinite intelligence. The rational mind, head, is local. It lives in time and space, worrying about the past. The heart is non-local. It lives in the eternal now and is connected to everything that exists. When you decree from the heart, you use a direct red phone to the source. When you decree only from the head, you are shouting out the window, hoping someone hears you. For the decree to be irrevocable, it must sink to the heart. Test it now. Think of a worrying situation. If you think from the head, worry increases. Now move your attention to the center of your chest. Breathe, imagining the air enters and leaves through the heart. Maintain attention there, and from there say, "All is well." You will notice the difference. The phrase has weight and truth. Your vibratory signature. What are you transmitting now? Commander, your task is to audit your broadcast. You are a radio station transmitting 24/7. Even when you sleep, your subconscious emits the signal of your predominant emotion. What is your habitual vibratory signature? Is it a static mix of "I want but I can't"? Or is it a symphony of gratitude and miracles? The universe does not punish or bless you. The universe responds to you. If you don't like what you are receiving, stop blaming the radio, change the frequency, raise your thought, raise your emotion. And when those two giants hold hands, the world will kneel before you. But beware, there is a hidden enemy. A silent saboteur in the basement of your mind who can disconnect the cables just as you achieve coherence. That saboteur is your subconscious programming. You can decree, "I am rich" for 5 minutes, but if your basement says, "Money is evil," you will lose. In the next chapter, we're going to hunt the saboteur. We're going to go down to the basement and rewrite the source code. Prepare yourself. The equation of creation is powerful, but it needs clean ground to work. We're going to clear the ground. Chapter 3, The Great Saboteur, Vibratory Incoherence. And yet, the ship does not move. Or worse, the ship starts moving toward your objective and mysteriously, halfway there, the engine explodes, the rudder jams, and you end up stranded on exactly the same island of scarcity and loneliness that you tried to escape 5 years ago. What on earth is happening? Is the universe deaf? Do you have bad luck? Is there a cosmic conspiracy against you? No. What is happening is that you have a mutiny on board. While you, your conscious mind, are on the deck shouting full speed ahead toward wealth, there is a dark, silent, and terribly powerful entity in the basement, your subconscious mind. That entity has put the engines in reverse. That entity is the great saboteur. And today we are going to go down to the basement to look it in the eye. If you do not resolve this internal conflict, if you do not quell this mutiny, no amount of positive affirmations, visualizations, or dream boards will do you any good. You will be like a man trying to accelerate a Ferrari with the handbrake on. You will make a lot of noise, waste a lot of energy, and burn your tires, but you will get nowhere. Today we are going to diagnose and cure your vibratory incoherence. The physics of destructive interference. To understand why your decrees fail, let's leave psychology for a moment and return to wave physics. Imagine a calm pond. If you throw a stone, your conscious desire, perfect waves are created that expand toward the shore. That is a clean decree. But what happens if, at the same time you throw that stone, a giant bubble, your subconscious belief, rises from the bottom of the pond and breaks the surface exactly where the stone falls? The waves of the stone and the waves of the bubble collide. In physics, this is called destructive interference. If wave A desire has a peak of +10 and wave B belief has a valley of 10, the sum is not a combined wave. The sum is 0. They cancel each other out. The water remains flat. The universe receives silence, static, white noise. You say, "I am a millionaire." +10 conscious. Your saboteur whispers, "You are a fraud and you are going to die poor." And 10 subconscious. Net vibratory result, 0. The universe does not give you wealth, but it doesn't take it away sometimes either. It simply leaves you in limbo, in stagnation. And stagnation is, for the creative spirit, a form of slow death. The problem is that you are only aware of the stone you throw. You don't see the bubble coming from below. You leave your morning meditation feeling good and say, "Today I have decreed with power." But you don't realize that you have spent 30 years programming your saboteur to nullify that decree. The saboteur is not evil. It is not a demon. The saboteur is a poorly calibrated biological protection mechanism, and it has control over 95% of your energy. The captain versus the crew, the disproportion of power. Let's put numbers to this tragedy. Your conscious mind, the captain, is the part of you that thinks, analyzes, decides, wants new things, and listens to this audiobook. It represents approximately 5% of your brain and processing capacity. Your subconscious mind, the crew, the saboteur, manages your heartbeat and deep beliefs. It represents 95% of your capacity. The captain is visionary but weak. The crew is blind but incredibly strong. The captain looks through the spyglass and sees a paradise island called financial freedom. He shouts, "Heading north." But the crew, locked in the engine room, has an old map stuck on the wall. That map was given to you by your parents, teachers, and society when you were 5 years old. And on that old map, in the north, there is a drawing of a giant monster that says, "Danger. Here there are rich and evil people. Here there is loneliness. Here there is a risk of losing everything." The crew hears the captain's order, go north, looks at their map, north is death, and makes an executive decision for survival. Ignore the captain. They move the rudder toward the south, toward the area marked as safe and known poverty. The captain, you, becomes enraged. I said north. Why are we going south? And he starts to fight against the rudder. But it is one man against 1,000. In the end, the crew wins. They always win, because the crew controls the fuel. The great saboteur is simply your installed programming defending its territory. Its primary function is homeostasis. Homeostasis is the biological impulse to keep everything the same. For your reptilian brain, same means safe. Different, even if it's better, means potential danger. If you have survived until today being poor, your saboteur assumes that poverty is safe. If you try to be rich, the saboteur activates the red alarm. Alert! Parameter change. We could die. Return to poverty immediately. And then you self-sabotage. You lose the business. You spend money on nonsense. You get sick right before the interview. It is not bad luck. It is your security system protecting you from success. The three faces of the saboteur. The saboteur is a master of disguise. It rarely introduces itself by saying, "Hello, I am your fear of success." It disguises itself as logic, morality, or realism. Let's unmask its three most common disguises so you can detect it when it tries to hijack your decree. The false moralist, the conflict of values. This is the most common in money matters. You decree, "I am divine opulence." The saboteur disguises itself as a Franciscan monk and whispers, "Opulence? That is for greedy people. Remember, it's easier for a camel to pass through a needle's eye. If you have money, you will be a bad person. You will become superficial." It creates a negative association between your desire and your moral identity. If deep down you believe that being rich is being bad, you will never be rich, because your need to be good is stronger than your need to have money. The saboteur prefers you to be a poor saint rather than a rich sinner. The protector of the wounded child. The conflict of deservingness. This appears in love and health. You decree, "I am loved and valued." The saboteur disguises itself as a crying child and says, "No, you are not. Dad left. Mom didn't pay attention. If they didn't love you, it's because there is something flawed in you. Better stay alone. Solitude doesn't hurt as much as abandonment." The saboteur protects you from the potential pain of the future by ensuring a moderate pain in the present. It keeps you in mediocre relationships because it believes that is the most you can aspire to without getting hurt. The cynical logician, the conflict of possibility. You decree, "I am a living miracle." The saboteur puts on glasses, pulls out a calculator and says, "Let's be realistic. Look at the statistics. Look at your age. Look at your bank account. No one in your family has achieved it. Who do you think you are? Stop dreaming, or the fall will be hard." It uses 3D logic to dismantle 4D creation. It convinces you that being realistic is being intelligent, when in reality, in the quantum world, being realistic is the fastest way to stagnate. The internal lie detector, the body test. How do you know if your saboteur is active? How do you know if your decree is pure or if it has interference? You cannot trust your thoughts because the saboteur is very smart and rationalizes everything. But there is something the saboteur cannot control. Your body. Your body is the materialized subconscious. The body never lies. Let's do a test right now. I want you to say your most ambitious decree out loud. For example, "I invoice $50,000 a month." Say it, and right after saying it, scan your body. What did you feel in the microsecond following the phrase? Did you feel expansion, heat, lightness, a spontaneous smile? Green light. There is coherence. The saboteur is asleep or in agreement. Did you feel a contraction in your stomach, pressure in your chest, a knot in your throat, a very low voice in your head saying lie, a nervous laugh? Red light. The saboteur is active. There is interference. Your system has rejected the decree as if it were a virus. That physical contraction is resistance. It is the friction between what you say and what you believe. If you ignore it and keep repeating the affirmation, you are only reinforcing the resistance. The secondary gain. Why do you love your problem? This is the hardest question I will ask you in the whole book. If the saboteur maintains your problem, poverty, illness, loneliness, it is because that problem is giving you some hidden benefit. In psychology, it is called secondary gain. No one maintains a behavior that is 100% negative. There is always an emotional payoff, even if it is twisted. Ask yourself, what do I gain by being poor, sick, a victim? At first, your ego will shout, nothing, I hate this. But if you dig deeper, you will find black gold. If I am poor, I don't have the responsibility of managing money. If I am poor, I belong to my family clan. I don't betray them by being the arrogant rich one. If I am sick, people pay attention to me. If I am a victim, I am always right and never to blame. If I am not successful, no one envies me. Bingo, there is the saboteur. It is protecting that secondary gain. As long as the secondary gain of staying the same is unconsciously greater than the benefit of changing, you will never change. The irrevocable decree demands that you renounce the secondary gain. It demands that you be willing to be criticized if you succeed. It demands that you be willing to assume responsibilities if you have money. It demands that you be willing to lose the sympathy of others if you stop being the victim. Are you willing to pay that price? The saboteur thinks not. You have to prove it. Negotiating with the internal terrorist. How do we deactivate the saboteur? Most people try to kill it. They try to fight their negative thoughts. That is a mistake. Remember, the saboteur has 95% of the power. If you go to war against it, you will lose. You will exhaust yourself. You cannot fight darkness. You can only turn on the light. You have to understand that the saboteur is like a very aggressive guard dog that thinks the mailman, your desire, is a thief. If you yell at the dog, it barks more. You have to calm the dog. You have to teach it that the mailman is a friend. Here are 3 strategies to dissolve vibratory incoherence. The credibility bridge, tricking the radar. If your decree is I'm a millionaire, and your reality is that you owe 3 months of rent, the jump is too big. The saboteur detects it as a flagrant lie. You need to build a bridge. Use progressive decrees that point in the right direction. I am open to new money possibilities. I am capable of learning. The so what technique, deactivating fear. When the saboteur throws a threat, if you have money, they will rob you. Do not resist. Take it to the extreme. Tell it, so what? I am strong. I can handle it. I'd rather cry in a Ferrari than on a bus. Besides, I can hire security. Face the fear and show your subconscious you have resources. Theta reprogramming, night hacking. The saboteur is most active when your brain waves are in beta. But there are 2 moments when the saboteur goes to sleep, right before sleeping and right upon waking. In those moments, your brain is in theta, alpha waves. It is a natural hypnotic state. Anything you decree in those 10 minutes goes straight in. The law of the vacuum, letting go to receive. To close this chapter, we must talk about cleaning. If your ship is full of rotten cargo, old beliefs, you cannot load the new gold. The saboteur clings to the old. You have to prove you are serious by making physical and mental space. If you decree prosperity but keep old torn clothes just in case you fail. Your mouth says prosperity. Your closet says scarcity. The saboteur sees the old clothes and says, aha, I knew it, deep down you are afraid. Let's keep the poverty. Throw away the old clothes. Clean your house. Forgive emotional debts. The vacuum scares the saboteur but fascinates the universe. Commander, take the helm. Vibratory incoherence is the only reason you don't have what you want. It's not the government, it's not your boss. It is your own internal civil war. Today, declare a peace treaty. Stop fighting with yourself. Embrace your saboteur. Understand it is a scared child trying to protect you. When the captain, you, assumes total responsibility and transmits security and love to the crew, subconscious, the mutiny ends. The crew returns to their posts. The rudder turns. And for the first time in years, you feel the wind blowing in your favor. You are ready to define your new identity. Chapter 4, the I Am Code. Identity versus desire. The ship is ready. The engine roars. The crew awaits orders. But a fundamental question remains, the most dangerous of all, floating in the salty air of this quantum sea. Who is the captain? I am not referring to your legal name. I am not referring to your profession, nor your family history, nor your past traumas. I am referring to your vibratory identity. Who do you believe you are at the deepest level of your being? Here lies the greatest secret, the great arcanum that separates masters from eternal apprentices. The law of attraction has been poorly explained and poorly sold to the world. They have told you you attract what you want. That is a lie. If you attracted what you wanted, beggars would be millionaires because they want money desperately, and the sick would be healthy because they want health with all their soul. The law is much more brutal and precise. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. The universe does not respond to your letters to Santa Claus. The universe responds to your identity signature. You are a tuning fork. If you are tuned to the note A, you will only vibrate when the note A sounds. You cannot pick up the note C, even if you shout, "I want C." Your physical and energetic structure does not allow it. To capture a new reality, you do not need to desire harder. You need to retune yourself. You need to change your structure. You need to become a different instrument. In this chapter, we are going to activate the I Am code. We are going to stop playing at improving your life and start playing at changing your life completely. We are going to kill the character you have been playing until today, so that the true protagonist can enter the scene. The fundamental error, desiring from lack. Let us analyze the semantic trap in which 99% of humanity lives. When you say, "I want to be rich," you are implicitly affirming an identity. I am someone who lacks money. The verb to want implies distance. It implies separation. Desire is the confirmation of absence. As long as you maintain the identity of the one who desires, the universe will keep you in the state of the one who does not have. It is mathematical. To have something, you must first be the person who has it. This sounds like a paradox. How am I going to feel rich if I don't have money? That is linear human logic. Seeing is believing. Divine logic, believing is seeing, works the other way around. Identity precedes reality. A king does not act like a king because he has a throne. He has a throne because he acts, thinks, and vibrates like a king. If you take away his throne, he is still a king. He will soon build another throne or reclaim his own. If you put a beggar on the throne, he will keep acting like a beggar, with fear, scarcity, insecurity, and will soon lose the throne. The external reality is only the set. The internal identity is the script. The set always changes to fit the script, never the other way around. If you want to change the scenery of your life, stop moving furniture, rewrite the character. The technology of I Am. Let us return to the burning bush, to Moses, to ancient metaphysics. I am that I am. Exodus 3:14. Eheya Asher Eheya. This phrase is not religious, it is reality programming code. I am is the variable definition command in the language of the universe. Imagine that your life is computer software. When you write in the code, identity variable, poor, the program automatically executes all subroutines associated with poverty, debts, worries, cheap purchases, envy, fear. The program has no choice. It has received the definition of the variable. You spend your life trying to change the result on the screen. You try to erase the debts, but you don't change the line of code. So the program generates the debt again and again. The irrevocable decree uses I am to hack the system. You must understand that everything you add after the words I am is an order of creation. It is a sentence of identity. And here is where you commit the crime against yourself. Listen to yourself speak for a day. I am so absent-minded. Order accepted, you will lose your keys. I am shy. Order accepted, you will be left alone at the party. I am bad with numbers. Order accepted, you will be scammed or lose money. That's just how I am. Order accepted, you will never change. You are using the name of God in vain. You are using the most potent tool in the cosmos to build a prison around yourself. The I am code demands extreme vigilance. Never, under any circumstance, finish a sentence that starts with I am with something negative. If you feel tired, do not say I am a tired old person. Say, I am feeling temporary tiredness, but I am vitality. Separate the temporary state, to be in a state, from the eternal identity, to be. The identity thermostat. The best metaphor for understanding why your identity governs your life is the thermostat. Imagine that your financial identity is set to 20 degrees, say, earning $500 a month. That is your comfort temperature. It is what your subconscious considers me. Scenario A. Something bad happens, you lose your job and your income drops to 10 degrees. Reprogramming. What happens? Your internal thermostat detects the anomaly. It's cold. It activates the emergency engines. You get moving, look for work like crazy, and in a short time, you are back to 20 degrees. Scenario B. Something good happens. You win the lottery or have a stroke of luck and you rise to 50 degrees, $10,000. What happens? Your internal thermostat detects the anomaly. It's too hot. This isn't me. It activates the air conditioning to cool the situation down. You start spending compulsively. You make bad investment decisions. You lend money to the wrong people. You get robbed. Or you simply get anxiety and sabotage yourself. Unconsciously, you get rid of the excess until you return to your comfort zone, 20 degrees. Does it sound familiar? It is the story of lottery winners who go broke in 2 years. It is the story of people who find a wonderful partner and boycott the relationship until they are left to return to their temperature of loneliness or conflict. You cannot maintain a result that exceeds your identity. The universe is a correction mechanism. It will always return you to the level of your I am. Therefore, the commander's job is not to seek more money, external heat. The job is to raise the internal thermostat. You have to change your factory setting. You have to convince yourself at a cellular level that your normal is 50 degrees. When you do that, even if your external reality is at 20 degrees, your own automatic system will work day and night without effort to raise the temperature until it matches your new setting. The death of the old man, the necessary funeral. This is where the process becomes painful. You cannot have two identities at the same time. You cannot be the victim and the creator at once. You cannot be the honest poor man and the generous rich man at once. They are incompatible frequencies. They occupy the same space on the hard drive. For the new you to be born, the old you has to die. And I am not referring to a soft metaphorical death. I am referring to a deliberate psychological murder. You have to identify the character you have been playing. Let's call it by its name. Perhaps it is John, the one who always struggles to make ends meet. Perhaps it is Mary, the one who always chooses men who abandon her. That character has habits. It has body postures. It has favorite phrases. It has friends who validate its misery. That character has protected you, yes, but now it is a cage. You have to fire it. You have to hold a funeral for it. I propose a radical exercise. Write a farewell letter to your old identity. Thank it for having brought you this far, for having helped you survive. But tell it firmly. Our paths part today. You no longer serve me for where I am going. I release you and I bury you. Burn the letter. And understand that from that moment on, thinking, speaking, or acting like the old character is necrophilia. It is playing with a corpse. Every time you complain, you are digging up the dead. Let it rest in peace. The paradigm be, do, have. Society has brainwashed you with the inverse paradigm, have, do, be. They tell you is when you have money you can do fun things, travel, invest, and then you will be happy and successful. It is the perfect trap. Because since you don't have, you don't do. And since you don't do, you are not. It is a vicious circle. The I am code reverses the arrow. Be, do, have. First you are, identity. You assume the posture and vibration of the rich, loved, healthy person right now, without physical proof. From that state of being, you do inspired action. You make different decisions. You walk differently. You speak differently. And as an inevitable consequence, you have result. The universe fills the mold that you have created with your being and your doing. Practical example. Old paradigm. I don't have money, have, so I can't invite anyone, do, so I am a lonely cheapskate, be. New paradigm. I am abundance and generosity, be. Even if I have little in the bank, I treat my friend to a coffee because that is what rich people do. The universe sees my vibration of abundance and sends me more money. Have. The change starts in the BE. Do not wait to have the title to feel professional. Feel like the expert and the title will arrive. Do not wait to have the partner to feel loving. Be love and the partner will arrive. The actor's method, spiritual possession. How do you change the BE without having the have? This is where the technique of Konstantin Stanislavski comes in. He taught his actors not to fake emotions, but to become the character. He told them, do not act as if you are cold. Feel the cold. Remember the cold. Be the cold. You are the actor in your own movie. The universe is the director and the set designer. If you go out on stage dressed as a beggar and acting with fear, the universe, the lighting director, will give you dim light, sad music, and a dirty alley set. But if you, in the middle of that alley, change your posture, you lift your chin, you look at the horizon with the eyes of a conqueror, you walk with elegance, what happens? The director says, cut, this actor doesn't fit this set. Change the lights, put on epic music, bring the throne. This guy is a king. This is called assumption. Neville Goddard taught it masterfully. Assume the virtue even if you do not have it. Put on the suit of the new you. At first it will be too big. You will feel ridiculous. You will feel imposter syndrome. Your saboteur will scream, who are you trying to fool? You still owe the rent. Here is the key. Imposter syndrome is a good sign. It means you are stretching your identity. It means you are leaving the comfort zone. If you don't feel a bit fake at first, you are not aiming high enough. The feeling of falseness is not a lie. It is a rehearsal. You are rehearsing your new role. No actor feels like the character on the first day of rehearsal. They need repetition. They need to walk like him, eat like him, until one day the line between the actor and the character is blurred. And that day, the Oscar, your manifestation, is yours. Micro-actions of identity. The devil is in the details. You do not need to make gigantic changes to activate the I am code. Identity is demonstrated in microscopic details. Ask yourself, how would my ideal self do this? The alarm goes off. Your old self, victim, turns it off 5 times, complains, gets up dragging its feet. Your new self, creator, gets up at the first ring, thanks the new day, stretches the body. You go to have a coffee. Your old self drinks the cheapest coffee, standing, looking at the mobile with anxiety. Your new self sits down, enjoys the aroma, treats themselves with dignity. An unexpected bill arrives. Your old self, panic. I have no money. Your new self breathes. It's just money. I have the capacity to generate more. This gets paid and that's it. These micro-decisions are votes. Each time you choose the reaction of the new you are casting a vote for your new identity. When you accumulate enough votes, you win the internal elections. The thermostat goes up, and reality changes, clothing the new man. The Bible says, no one puts new wine into old wineskins, otherwise the skins burst and the wine is spilled. Luke 5:37. Old wineskins are rigid. New wine ferments and expands. If the skin does not stretch, it explodes. You are the wineskin. Your desire is the new wine. If you try to put the $1 million new wine into your identity of fearful employee, old wineskin, you will burst. You will go crazy or lose the money. You need a new wineskin, a flexible and expansive identity. This also involves your physical appearance. You do not need expensive brand clothes if you cannot pay for them, but you need dignity. How does your new self dress? Groom yourself for success before success arrives. Shave, comb your hair, iron your clothes, clean your car. When you look in the mirror and like yourself, your vibration rises. Your I am is reinforced. You are telling the universe, I am ready for the party, I am dressed for the occasion, you can open the doors. The irrevocable name. To close this chapter, Commander, we are going to do a baptism exercise. You are going to choose your new vibratory name. You are not going to change your legal name, but you are going to define your master I am label. Close your eyes. Forget who they told you were. Forget your school grades, forget your failed relationships, forget your bank balance. In the infinite void of your potential, who do you decide to be today? I am the power that moves mountains. I am unlimited abundance in human form. I am love incarnate. I am radiant health. Choose one, or create your own. But let it be big. Let it scare you. Let it make your legs tremble. And once chosen, marry it. Write it on your bathroom mirror. Set it as your phone wallpaper. Repeat it 1,000 times a day until your brain gives in. Defend that identity with your life. Because if someone calls you stupid and you accept, yes, I am stupid, you have lost the kingdom. If the world calls you poor and you accept, yes, I am poor, you have lost the kingdom. Deny it. Say, my circumstances are temporary, but my identity is eternal. I am rich. When you maintain your I am against contrary evidence, you are demonstrating a faith that moves mountains. You are demonstrating that you are God in action. And the universe, recognizing its creator, will have no choice but to bow its head and say, at your command, my Lord, your will be done. Chapter 5, Feeling as the Seal of Guarantee. Welcome to the Sanctum Sanctorum, Commander. Until now we have constructed the temple. We have laid the foundations with the word, raised the walls with identity, and cleared the basement of saboteurs. But an empty temple is just a cold stone building. For the temple to have power, it needs the presence of the divine, it needs the sacred fire. In the language of the irrevocable decree, that fire has a very specific name, often misinterpreted and terribly underestimated: feeling. The great mystic Neville Goddard wrote an entire book simply titled, Feeling is the Secret. He did not say, thinking is the secret. He did not say asking or working hard is the secret. He said feeling. Why? Because the universe is deaf to your hollow words, but it is hypersensitive to your emotional radiation. You can shout, I am a millionaire, until you are hoarse, but if your internal vibration is one of anguish, the universe will read anguish and send you more reasons to feel distressed. Today we are going to learn to use feeling not as a reaction to what happens to you, but as the cause of what is going to happen to you. We are going to learn to place the seal of guarantee on your decree. Without this seal, your decree is just an unsigned letter lost in the cosmic mail. With it, it becomes a royal order. The royal seal, the wax, and the ring. To understand the metaphysics of feeling, let us travel back in time. Imagine an ancient king writing a decree. Starting today, the grain tax is reduced. The scribe notes it down. The words and intention are there. But that parchment alone is worth nothing. Anyone could have written it. It has no authority or power. For the decree to be irrevocable, the king must take hot wax, pour it over the paper, and press his signet ring into the soft wax. Only when the wax cools and hardens, bearing the impression of the ring, does the paper become law. You are the king. Your subconscious is the parchment. Your decree is the words. But the feeling is the impression of the ring upon the wax. Most people try to manifest with cold wax. They repeat affirmations mechanically, with a heart that is hard, skeptical, or cold. The ring leaves no mark. There is no impression. The subconscious does not receive the order. Others try to manifest with boiling wax, emotional hysteria, desperation, uncontrolled crying. The wax is so liquid that the mark becomes blurred and lost. The master of the decree knows how to heat the wax to the exact point, deep relaxation, and press the ring firmly, vivid feeling, until the mark is engraved. Once the feeling has been imprinted on the subconscious, the work is done. It is no longer necessary to keep pressing the ring. The mark is there. The universe scans your energy field, sees the royal seal, and says, "This human has the authorization. Proceed to deliver the shipment." Distinguishing emotion from feeling, the euphoria trap. This is where 90% of Law of Attraction students make their mistake. They confuse feeling with fleeting emotion. They believe that to manifest $1 million, they must be jumping for joy around the house, screaming like crazy with music at full volume, in a state of euphoric mania 24 hours a day. That is exhausting, and it is false. Ask yourself, How does a millionaire actually feel? Does he wake up every morning screaming, "Yes, I have money, wow"? No. He wakes up calm. He drinks his coffee. He reads the newspaper. He knows the money is there. His predominant feeling is not euphoria. It is security. It is naturalness. It is relief. The feeling of the wish fulfilled that Neville spoke of is not an explosion of fireworks. It is the warm silence of a lit fireplace. It is the sensation of "it is done." It is the deep sigh you give when you take off shoes that were too tight. It is the peace of knowing the bill is paid. It is the warmth of sleeping next to the person you love, not the anxiety of the first date. If you try to maintain an artificial vibration of euphoria, you will burn out. Your subconscious will know you are faking. But if you seek the vibration of relief and naturalness, your subconscious will believe you. The seal of guarantee does not shout. It simply is. Your goal is not to go crazy with joy. Your goal is to make your desire feel normal. When your desire feels natural, "Of course I have money. It's normal for me," then it manifests. As long as it feels like an incredible miracle, you will keep it at a distance. The alchemy of relief, the supreme feeling. If I had to choose a single emotion, a single vibratory frequency to recommend as the most potent of all, it would be relief. Relief is the chemical signature of manifestation. Think about it. What do you feel at the precise instant you solve a serious problem? What do you feel when you find lost keys? What do you feel when the doctor tells you it's benign, you have nothing? You feel a massive discharge of energy that goes down from your head to your feet. You let out your breath. Ah, thank God. Your shoulders drop. Your stomach untangles. Your heart slows down. That ah is the sound of resistance falling away. That ah is the sound of acceptance. When you manage to induce that feeling of relief before the problem is physically resolved, you are hacking the matrix. You are forcing the universe to resolve the problem to justify your relief. Practical exercise, the sigh of power. When you feel overwhelmed by current reality, debts, loneliness, illness, stop. Close your eyes. Imagine for a second that the problem is already resolved. Do not worry about the how. Just imagine the end. Imagine someone tells you, "It is done," and physically force a sigh of relief. Push all the air out of your lungs with an audible sound, "ha-ha." Feel how your muscles loosen. Repeat it 3 times. That sigh sends a biological signal to your brain. The danger has passed. Your brain stops emitting cortisol, stress, and starts emitting serotonin, peace. You have placed the seal. You have changed your state. And from that state of relief you are magnetic. From the state of tension you are repellent. The inner senses, touching the invisible. Neville Goddard taught that the human being has 2 bodies. The physical body, limited to the 5 external senses, and the spiritual body, endowed with 5 internal senses. To imprint the feeling on the subconscious, you must learn to use your internal senses with the same vividness with which you use the external ones. The universe does not distinguish between what your physical eyes see and what your mental eye sees, as long as the mental image has tones of reality. What does tones of reality mean? It means texture. It means smell. It means temperature. If you want to manifest a new car, it is not enough to just see a photo of it. That is daydreaming. That is fantasy. To decree, you must touch the car with your imaginary hands. Close your eyes. Feel the coldness of the metal on the door handle. Feel the texture of the leather on the steering wheel. Is it smooth? Is it rough? Smell the characteristic new car scent, that mix of plastic and upholstery. Listen to the solid, deep sound of the door closing. Thump. Feel the weight of the key in your pocket. When you involve touch, smell, and hearing in your imagination, you activate parts of the brain that simple visual visualization does not touch. You make the experience 3-dimensional, you give it density. And the denser the imagination, the faster it condenses into matter. The irrevocable decree is signed with the inner senses. Do not say, "I want a rose." Smell the imaginary rose until your nose tingles. Feel the thorns on your fingers until you are careful not to prick yourself. When the internal experience is so vivid that you open your eyes and are surprised not to see the rose there, Then the seal has been placed. The physical rose is on its way. It is law. The telephone technique, hearing is believing. One of the most effective ways to generate the feeling of it is done is to use the sense of hearing through an imaginary conversation. The human voice has a brutal power of conviction over the subconscious. The technique, choose a person you trust, someone whose voice you know perfectly. Enter a state of deep relaxation, eyes closed, body still. Imagine your phone rings, you pick it up. Listen to that person's voice on the other side, not your own voice, but their voice. Hear them telling you exactly what you want to hear to confirm your desire has been fulfilled. Example, congratulations, I heard about your promotion, I knew you'd do it. Example, I'm so happy you're healed, you look incredible. Example, I can't believe you won, how lucky. Listen to the emotion in their voice. Are they crying with joy? Are they laughing? Respond to them, yes, it's incredible, thank you. Repeat this small 10-second scene over and over, like a GIF loop until you feel the physical reaction in your body, until you truly smile, until you get goosebumps. That skin crawl is the confirmation. You have tricked your brain. Your brain believes the conversation was real, and because it believes it is real, it begins to move the threads of reality so that the conversation occurs physically. I have seen miracles happen with this technique, people who receive the actual call hours after having imagined it. Because sound, even imagined sound, breaks the barriers of doubt. The spiritual pregnancy, the time of silence. Once you have placed the seal, the feeling, something curious happens. Often the burning desire disappears. You stop feeling that anxiety, that hunger, that need to ask for it. Many get scared. They think, I have lost faith. I no longer feel like visualizing. Error. Celebrate. That loss of anxiety is the sign that you are pregnant. When a woman becomes pregnant, she stops trying to become pregnant. She stops searching for methods. She simply knows it is done. And she waits. The feeling changes from searching to confident expectation. If you have done the work of feeling well, you will reach a point of saturation. You will feel it is done. I don't need to do it anymore. I feel full. This state is called the mystical Sabbath, the day of rest. God created the world in 6 days, and on the 7th he rested. Not because he was tired, but because the work was finished. You are the creator. When you feel that it is already done, rest. Do not keep visualizing compulsively out of fear that it will erase. If you keep insisting, it is as if you keep painting over a finished canvas. You will ruin it. Quiet indifference is the supreme state of faith. What to do when reality hits you? But let's be realistic, Commander. You do your exercise, feel the relief, seal the decree, and then you open your eyes and see the unpaid electricity bill, or you see your empty bed, or you feel the pain in your back. 3D reality, the world of shadows, comes to challenge you. It comes to tell you you are delusional. Look at this is real, your imagination is a lie. This is where the battle is won or lost. This is where you prove if you are a master or an amateur. The amateur reacts to reality. Oh, it's true, I'm still poor, and breaks the seal. He heats the wax again and throws it in the trash. The master denies the evidence of the senses. It does not mean you don't pay the bill. Pay it if you can. Do what you have to do in the physical world. But do not let the bill touch your internal state. Look at it and say, this is a remnant of the past. It is an old skin I am shedding. My true reality is what I felt 5 minutes ago in my meditation. That reality is on its way and will overwrite this bill. Maintain the mental diet. Do not eat the visual garbage the world offers you. If you see scarcity, close your eyes, recover the aroma of the rose, recover the voice of congratulations. Return to the feeling. Tell reality, you are the lie. My feeling is the truth. This requires a discipline of iron. It requires being a controlled delusional. But remember, all great geniuses, inventors and revolutionaries were called delusional until their delusion became reality. Steve Jobs deluded about a phone without buttons. The Wright brothers deluded about flying. You delude about your freedom. Maintain the delusion. Sustain the feeling. Because feeling is the mold into which the energy of the universe is poured. If you keep the mold firm, the universe has no choice but to fill it. The seal is sacred. Commander, your emotion is your most valuable treasure. Do not waste it on television news. Do not waste it on political arguments. Do not waste it on neighborly gossip. Every time you get angry over a trifle, you are using your wax and your seal to decree more trifles. Protect your emotional state as if it were a newborn child. Do not let anyone dirty touch it. Your primary responsibility in life is not to work hard, it is to keep your vibration high. Maintaining the feeling of the wish fulfilled is a full-time job. It is the work of God in man. When you go to bed tonight, do not fall asleep reviewing your problems. That is sealing nightmares. Fall asleep feeling the ring in the wax. Fall asleep assuming your desire is already a fact. Let the last thought before unconsciousness be that sigh of relief. Thank you, it is done, it is wonderful. And while you sleep, the great subconscious will take that seal and move mountains so that upon waking, your world looks a little more like your dream. Chapter 6. Logical Faith, Knowing versus Believing. Welcome to the laboratory of certainty, Commander. Up to now we have navigated very emotional waters. We have spoken of feeling, vibrating, and intuiting, but I know there is a part of you that still frowns. There is a small judge sitting in the court of your left brain, with glasses and a calculator, who hears all this and says, "Very nice, but where is the proof? How do I know I'm not self-deceiving? How can I trust my financial future or my health to something as ethereal as a feeling?" That judge is your logic, and unlike what many spiritual gurus have told you, you do not have to kill your logic. Logic is not the enemy of faith, it is its bodyguard. The problem is that you have been feeding your logic with incomplete data, the visible world. Today we are going to give it complete data, the invisible laws. We are going to build a logical faith. We are going to stop treating the law of attraction as if it were magic or luck. And we are going to start treating it as quantum engineering. When an engineer builds a bridge, he doesn't have faith that the bridge will hold. He knows the bridge will hold because he has calculated the loads, studied the resistance of materials, and applied the laws of physics. His confidence is not hope, it is knowledge. Today you are going to stop being a believer to become a knower. You are going to understand that doubting your decree is as absurd as doubting the law of gravity. The gravity and the decree, mechanical inevitability. Let's start with the obvious. You don't wake up in the morning and pray, "Oh, great gravity, please keep my feet glued to the ground today. I hope you don't forget about me. I have faith that I won't fly off into space." That would be ridiculous. You assume gravity, you take it for granted. If you drop a pen from your hand, do you doubt it will fall? No, you know it will fall. It is an impersonal, constant, and universal law. It doesn't care about you, it doesn't care if you are a good person or a bad person. If you let go, it falls. The irrevocable decree operates under an identical law, the law of assumption. This law dictates that every impression held in the subconscious must express itself. It is pure mechanics. Impression plus time carries expression. Seed plus soil plus time carries plant. The problem is that you see gravity act instantly, but the law of assumption has a time interval, the buffer we spoke of in Chapter 1. That interval is what confuses your logic. You drop the seed, decree, and don't see the plant instantly. Your logic says, "It failed." But if you were a farmer, your logic would be different. The farmer plants the seed, covers the soil, and goes to sleep. He doesn't see the plant, but he knows that the soil chemistry is working. He doesn't have anxiety. He has biological certainty. Logical faith is the ability to apply the farmer's mindset to your desires. It is understanding that once you have planted the seed, feeling in the fertile soil, subconscious, the gestation process is automatic and unstoppable. You don't need to push the river. The river flows by itself. You don't need to make it happen. It is already happening in the subsoil. The Amazon Protocol, the logistics of the invisible. I'm going to give you the definitive metaphor to calm your rational mind. Use it every time fear attacks you. Think about how Amazon works. The selection, the desire. You enter the web, look for what you want. You choose it. The payment, the feeling. You click buy, the price is charged. In the quantum world, the price is not money, it is attention and emotion. Once you have paid the emotional price, feeling it is already yours, the transaction is closed. The confirmation, the decree, you get an email. Your order has been processed. That is your moment of internal certainty. The logistics, the bridge of incidents. Here comes the magic. Once you have bought, you don't go to the Amazon warehouse to shout at the employees. You don't worry about what truck they will use, what route the driver will take, or if there will be traffic. You detach yourself from the how. You trust blindly in the logistical infrastructure of a giant company. You know they have systems to get the package from A to B. The universe is the largest, oldest, and most efficient logistics company in existence. It manages the movement of trillions of galaxies, the birth of stars, and the breathing of 8 billion humans simultaneously. Do you really think it will be hard to bring you a car, a check, or a partner? To the universe, your desire is a logistical trifle. Logical faith consists of saying, I have made the order. I have paid the emotional price. I have the receipt, my peace of mind. Now, the logistics are the manager's problem. When you doubt, you are insulting the logistical capacity of the universe. You are saying, I don't think you're capable, so I'm going to worry myself. That is ego arrogance. Relax. The delivery truck is on its way. There might be traffic, delays. The driver might take a shortcut you didn't expect, strange paths. But the package arrives. It always arrives. It is law. Knowing versus believing, the quantum leap. There is an abysmal difference between believing and knowing. Believing. I think it is possible, but the possibility exists that it is not. Belief implies a mental effort to sustain a truth that is not evident. Belief is fragile. Contrary data can break it. Knowing, it is a fact. Knowing requires no effort. You don't have to strain to know your name is your name. You don't have to strain to know you have 2 hands. It simply is. Knowing is anti-fragile. Contrary data doesn't break it. It is simply ignored as a perceptual error. The goal of the irrevocable decree is to move you from the believing box to the knowing box. How is that done? Through the repetition of internal evidence. Your logical brain works with evidence. Until now, it only accepted external evidence, what your eyes see. But neuroscience has shown the brain doesn't distinguish between what it sees and what it vividly imagines. If you close your eyes and visualize your success with all emotional detail, Chapter 5, your brain registers that as a real experience. It generates new neural connections. To your brain, it has already happened. If you do it once, it's a fantasy. If you do it 50 times, it becomes a memory. If you do it 100 times, it becomes a neurological fact. A moment comes when your brain says, hey, according to my internal records, we are rich, healthy, loved. It is a known fact. In that moment, you have passed to knowing. You no longer need to have faith. You have neurological certainty. And when your brain knows something is real, it activates the RAS to look for and create that reality. You look for it with the same naturalness with which you look for your house when returning from work. You don't doubt your house is there. You know where it is. The law of reversibility, the scientific proof. For the most skeptical, here is a real physical law, the law of mechanical reversibility. This law, formulated by James Watt and other engineers, says that if a cause A produces an effect B, then the effect B can reproduce cause A. Physical example. If you pass electricity A through a wire, you generate a magnetic field B. Reversibility. If you move a magnetic field B around a wire, you generate electricity A. This is how generators work. If you apply heat A to water, you produce steam B. Reversibility. If you compress steam B, you produce heat A. Let's apply this to metaphysics. If you have a real fact A, for example, you have $1 million, that produces a psychological feeling B, security, freedom. Reversibility. If you produce the psychological feeling B, security, freedom, you must inevitably generate the real fact A, the $1 million. The universe is a reversible system. You cannot have the effect, feeling, without invoking the cause, fact. If you manage to sustain the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are hacking the law of reversibility. You are forcing the cause to appear. It is not magic. It is spiritual thermodynamics. It is impossible by law for you to feel wealth genuinely and sustainedly and remain poor. The system would break, and the universe does not break. It adjusts. It adjusts by giving you the wealth to balance the equation. This is your logical base. When you doubt, tell yourself, I am applying the law of reversibility. If I have the feeling, the fact is inevitable. It's physics. The architect and the blueprint do not judge the work. Imagine an architect. He draws a skyscraper on blue paper. Is the building real? On the physical plane, 3D, it is still a plot full of mud and excavators, but to the architect, the building is already real. He doesn't look at the mud and say, oh no, I've failed, there is only mud. He knows the mud is the necessary phase of excavation for foundations. He trusts the blueprint. He knows the workers, the universe, are following the lines he drew. You are the architect. Your decree is the blue blueprint. Your current reality, problems, debts, crises, is the plot full of mud. The error you make is going down to the site, filling your boots with mud and shouting, this is a disaster, the blueprint doesn't work. Stop judging the work mid-process. Chaos often precedes order. Sometimes to build your new life, the universe has to demolish the old one. That demolition looks like problems. You lose your job, your partner leaves, you are kicked out of your house. Your fear logic says everything is going wrong. Your logical faith says, excellent. They are demolishing the old shack to build my palace. The blueprint is being executed. Everything is going according to plan. Logical faith gives you the ability to reframe chaos. You see the disaster and aren't scared. You interpret it as a sign of progress. If my old car breaks, it's because the new one is on the way. If I lose this small client, it's because I need space for the giant client. This attitude of constant positive interpretation accelerates the construction because you don't introduce resistance or panic into the work. The invisible evidence, dark matter. Scientists tell us that 95% of the universe is composed of dark matter and dark energy. We don't see it, we don't touch it, but we know it's there because its gravity holds galaxies together. What your eyes see, visible matter, is only 5% of reality. The 5% is the tip of the iceberg. Basing your faith only on what you see, your bank account, medical diagnosis, is betting on the 5% and ignoring the 95%. It is statistically stupid. Logical faith bets on the 95%. It bets on the quantum field, the world of infinite probabilities, the invisible energy moving behind the curtain. When you say, I don't see results, you are being a bad scientist. You don't see visible results, but you don't see the calls being made, the coincidences being woven, the ideas flying toward you. An iceberg sinks your ship if you only look at the tip. Your reality sinks you if you only look at the visible. Learn to see the invisible. Learn to feel the submerged mass of your manifestation approaching, the courage to ignore facts. There is a famous phrase, if the facts do not fit the theory, change the facts, often attributed to Einstein or Hegel. In empirical science, this is an error, but in the science of creation, it is the law. The current facts of your life are not fixed truths. They are simply crystallizations of the past. They are the smoke from a fire that burned yesterday. Your bank account today is the result of your thoughts from a year ago. If you obsess over the fact of today, you are perpetuating the past. Logical faith gives you the courage to say, I recognize that this fact exists. I don't deny it through madness, but I deny it authority over my future. I deny it through power. You look at debt and say, it is a temporary fact, but my truth is wealth. You look at illness and say, it is a temporary fact, but my truth is health. You take the veto power away from 3D reality. You are the one who vetoes. You are the one who approves. Facts are malleable. They are clay. Your consciousness is the potter. Are you going to let the clay tell you what shape to have? Or are you going to impose your shape on the clay? The Noah's Decree. To close this chapter, I want you to change your internal vocabulary. Eliminate the word hope. Eliminate the word believe in the sense of doubt. Eliminate the phrase God willing. God wants what you want because God is in you, living through you. Start using the language of the knower. I know. It is evident. It is inevitable. It is done. When doubt assaults you, do not fight it emotionally. Fight with logic. Take out your architect's blueprint and say, "Look, here is the blueprint. I have sealed the order. I have paid the price. The law of reversibility is active. The universal Amazon logistics are en route." There is no logical reason to doubt. Doubting is inefficient. Doubting is for amateurs. I am a professional. Logical faith is cold, hard, and solid like a diamond. It doesn't break with emotions. It doesn't break with bad news. It knows the laws of the universe never fail. If gravity doesn't fail, your decree won't fail either. Now that you have intellectual certainty, the next challenge arises. Time. How long does it take? What do I do while I wait? How do I not go crazy looking at the clock? Chapter 7. The Gestation Period, Active Patience. Welcome to the desert of the real, Commander. You have issued your irrevocable decree. You have felt the emotion. You have convinced your logic. And now you sit and wait. You look at the clock. Nothing. You look at the calendar. A day passes. A week passes. A month passes. Your physical reality remains stubbornly identical to yesterday's. This is where the true spiritual battle begins. This is where the children are separated from the adults, the apprentices from the masters. The gestation period is the cosmic filter designed to eliminate imposters. If your faith depends on seeing instant results, you do not have faith, you have a whim, and the universe does not negotiate with the whimsical. In this chapter, we are going to completely redefine your relationship with time. You are going to learn that the interval between your decree and its materialization is not a delay or a refusal. It is a necessary biological and quantum process. You are going to learn to stop waiting, a passive and victim attitude, to start gestating, an active and creator attitude. The law of gender, the cosmic pregnancy. To understand why things take time, we must turn to the seventh hermetic law of the Kybalion, the law of gender. This law says, everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. Your conscious mind, the captain, is the masculine principle. Its function is to sow the seed, the decree. It is a rapid, explosive, and directional act. Your subconscious mind, the universe, the matrix, is the feminine principle. Its function is to receive the seed, nourish it, give it shape, and give it birth. It is a slow, dark, and enveloping process. When you launch an irrevocable decree, you have performed the act of spiritual conception. You are pregnant with your desire. Now then, imagine a woman who has just discovered she is pregnant. Does she spend the 9 months screaming, "Where is the baby? I want to see it now. If it doesn't come out tomorrow, it means I'm not pregnant"? No. She knows there is a gestation period. She knows that, even though she doesn't see the baby is growing. The bones, the organs, the skin are forming. It is an immensely complex biological engineering job that requires time. Each desire has its own natural gestation time. A carrot takes 70 days to grow. An oak tree takes 50 years. An elephant takes 22 months to gestate. A mouse takes 20 days. If your desire is a free coffee, the gestation may be 10 minutes. If your desire is a financial empire of $100 million, the gestation will be longer. Not because the universe is slow, but because the restructuring of reality needed to accommodate that desire is massive. One must move people, change laws, create opportunities, and align coincidences. It is heavy logistics. The beginner's error is wanting to gestate an elephant in the time of a mouse. If you force the birth at 2 months, you don't have an elephant. You have a miscarriage. You have a dead project. Your impatience is the most effective abortion tool in existence. The master respects the cycles. He knows that time is not empty. Time is full of invisible work. The danger of digging up the seed. Visualize this. You have a fertile garden. You plant a golden seed, your decree. You cover it with soil. You water it with your emotion. The next day you wake up anxious. You go out to the garden and say, "Is it growing?" Since you see nothing on the surface, you dig up the soil, take out the seed, look at it and say, "Ah, yes, it's a little bit damp, it seems to be doing well." And you bury it again. The next day, anxiety overcomes you. You dig again. You take out the seed. It's still the same, I don't see roots. On the third day, you take it out again. What is going to happen to that seed? It is going to die, it will dry up, it will never take root. Every time you doubt, every time you obsessively seek signs because you don't trust, every time you ask, when will it arrive, you are digging up the seed. You are breaking contact with the nourishing earth of the subconscious. You are exposing your desire to the harsh light of your logical doubt before it is strong enough to survive. Active patience consists of leaving the seed alone. It consists of looking at the empty earth and knowing that there is life underneath. It requires mental discipline of steel. Your ego will tell you, look, there is nothing. It is just dirty earth. You have deceived yourself. You will tell the ego, your vision is superficial. My vision is deep. Life happens in the dark. I am not going to touch it. I trust the process. Passive patience versus active patience. Here is the key distinction that will transform your waiting. There are two ways to wait, and they vibrate at opposite frequencies. Passive patience, vibration of victim mind waiting. It is the attitude of someone waiting for the bus in the rain. You look at the clock, you complain, you sigh, you feel helpless. You feel your life is on pause until the bus arrives. Your message to the universe is, I am not in control. I am suffering the absence. I lack something. This vibration lengthens time. Psychological time stretches and becomes a torture. Active patience, vibration of creator preparation. It is the attitude of a host waiting for a guest of honor. You know the guest is coming. They have confirmed to you your logical faith. So you don't sit on the sofa looking at the door with anguish. You get moving, you clean the house, you prepare the dinner. You put on music. You dress in your best clothes, you set the table. Your message to the universe is, I know it's coming, so I am preparing to receive it. I am busy making space. This vibration collapses time. Time flies because you are focused on preparation, not on lack. Preparation exercise. If you have decreed that you are going to take a trip around the world, do you have suitcases? Do you have your passport up to date? If you don't have a suitcase, deep down, you don't believe you are going to travel. Buying the suitcase, inspired action, is active patience. If you have decreed that you are going to find the love of your life, do you have space in your closet? Or is it full of your old clothes? Do you sleep in the center of the bed, or do you leave one side free? Making physical space is telling the universe, look, this is where it's going to go, fill it. Active patience turns waiting into a game of anticipation. It stops being suffering for not having and becomes excitement for what is going to arrive. It is the difference between the anxiety of the child who fears Santa Claus won't come and the excitement of the child who knows he is coming and leaves him cookies and milk. Be the child who leaves the cookies. The bridge of incidents, the invisible plot. Neville Goddard coined the term bridge of incidents. It is the series of events, coincidences, and situations that take you from where you are, state A, to where you want to be, state B. The fascinating and terrifying thing about the bridge of incidents is that you do not design it, and often it does not look like a bridge to success. Sometimes the bridge looks like a disaster. You decree, I am a successful entrepreneur. The following week you are fired from your current job. Your ego screams, system failure. I asked for success and they give me unemployment. The law of attraction is a scam. No, you fool, it is the bridge. It is, to be an entrepreneur, you had to stop being an employee. Since you did not have the courage to resign, the universe, your subconscious, created a layoff to push you into the void. The layoff was not an error. It was the first brick of the bridge. You decree, I am the perfect love. 2 days later, your current partner, with whom you had been in a mediocre relationship for years, leaves you. You cry. You feel abandoned. But it was necessary. The space had to be cleared so that perfect love could enter. Commander, you must understand this. Do not judge the path by its bumps. The universe operates through non-linear paths. What seems like a setback is usually an impulse to gain momentum. When you are in the middle of the chaos of the bridge of incidents, stay calm. Do not cancel your decree with fear. Say, this seems like a problem, but I know it is part of the plot. It is the plot twist. It's the twist needed for the happy ending. I keep walking. If you maintain faith during the chaos of the bridge, you will reach the other side. If you get scared and turn around halfway across the bridge, you will be left without the old job and without the new company. You will stay in no man's land. Keep walking. The bridge is safe even if it moves. The observer paradox, the watched pot. There is a popular saying that holds a great quantum truth. A watched pot never boils. In quantum physics, this is known as the quantum Zeno effect. This effect postulates that if you observe an unstable system, in change, too frequently, you freeze its evolution. Continuous observation resets the wave function and prevents it from changing state. Applied to your decree, if you are checking your bank account every hour to see if the money has arrived yet, you are freezing the account in the state of zero. Your anxious observation is collapsing reality into there is none. You are solidifying the absence. You have to learn the art of the peripheral gaze. Do not look your desire fixedly in the eyes all the time. Scare it. Ignore it a little. Busy yourself with other things. Live your life. Give the universe space to work in the shadows. Manifestation occurs in the spaces of silence when your conscious mind is distracted. Has it never happened to you that you look for a name, it doesn't come to you, you get frustrated, and the moment you give up and start washing the dishes, pop, the name appears? That is the principle of letting go. When you remove the pressure of direct observation, the energy flows. The irrevocable decree is launched and released. It is not monitored. To monitor is to doubt. To let go is to trust. Stop looking at the pot. Go set the table. When you return, the water will be boiling. The waiting room syndrome. Many people turn their lives into a giant waiting room. I will be happy when the money arrives. I will love myself when I lose weight. I will enjoy life when I retire. This is a crime against your own existence. You are postponing life. You are conditioning your happiness on an external event that hasn't happened. And the worst thing is that the vibration of waiting and boredom repels the desire. Who wants to go to a party where the host is bored and looking at the clock? Nobody. Not even money wants to go there. Money, love, and health are living energies. They like high vibration, they like joy, they like movement. They want to join a party that has already started. Do not wait to have the money to be happy. Be happy, active patience, and the money will want to come play with you. Start the party without the guest of honor. Dance alone, eat well, enjoy what you already have. When the universe sees that you are capable of enjoying life without the desire, it says, "This human is sovereign. He is not a needy person, he is an equal. Let's give him more toys because he knows how to play." Destroy the waiting room. Turn your life into a main stage now. Your happiness is not negotiable. Your happiness does not depend on the Amazon package. Your happiness is yours. Time is an illusion. The state is real. For the subconscious mind, time does not exist. There only exists the eternal now. When you decree, "I am rich," for your subconscious, it is a present truth. The delay is only an illusion of your physical senses, which process information slowly. It is like thunder and lightning. They occur at the same time, but you see the light first and hear the sound later. Does it mean the sound did not exist when you saw the light? No. The sound was already real. It just took time to reach your ear because sound travels slower. Your physical manifestation is the thunder. Your decree and your vision are the lightning. The lightning has already occurred. You have seen the light in your mind. The thunder, physical reality, is on its way. It is inevitable. It is physics. You cannot have lightning without thunder. The fact that there is silence right now does not mean the thunder isn't coming. It means the distance was great. But the greater the distance, the louder the roar will be when it arrives. Enjoy the silence before the thunder. Feel the electricity in the air. Smell the rain that is coming. That is the attitude of the commander. He doesn't look at the clock with fear. He looks at the sky with anticipation. Emergency protocol when waiting hurts. There will be bad days. There will be days when active patience runs out and you want to scream. There will be days when you feel like a fool for believing in this. It is normal. You are human. Your biology is fighting against your spirit. When that day arrives, use this protocol. Recognize, do not repress. Say, "Today I feel frustrated and I doubt." It's okay, do not fight the emotion, observe it. Remember the law of the bamboo. Chinese bamboo spends 5 years underground without a single sprout coming out. For 5 years, the farmer waters and fertilizes it without seeing anything. If he stops watering for 1 day, the bamboo dies. But in the 5th year, the bamboo grows 30 meters in 6 weeks. Did it grow in 6 weeks? No. It grew in 5 years and 6 weeks. You are a bamboo. You are growing deep roots to be able to sustain a massive height. If you grew fast without roots, the first wind would knock you over. Your frustration is just gardener's boredom. Keep watering. Thrice, return to the end. Close your eyes and go mentally to the day after your success. Feel the relief again. Remember that the future already exists. Visit it to recharge your batteries. The pact with time. Commander, I want you to make peace with time right now. Stop seeing it as your enemy. Time is the oven where the bread is baked. If you take the bread out early, it's raw. If you leave it for the right time, it's delicious. Trust the baker, your higher self. He knows when the bread is ready. He knows when you are ready to receive. Sometimes the delay is protection. Sometimes if they gave you the million today, it would destroy you because you don't have the maturity to manage it. Time is maturing you, so that when the blessing arrives, it is a blessing and not a curse. Your decree is irrevocable. Time is only the delivery mechanism. Relax, keep the candle lit, keep the house clean, and smile. Because what is coming toward you is much larger than you imagine, and when it arrives, you will say, "It was worth every second of waiting." Now, Commander, a practical problem arises. While you wait, your eyes continue to see scarcity. You continue to see the problem. How do you live in mental wealth while you walk through physical poverty? How do you not react to the negative reality right in front of your nose? Chapter 8. The Art of Ignoring Reality, the Denial of the Senses. Welcome to the bloodiest battlefield of the spiritual war, Commander. Until now, everything has been relatively easy. Visualizing with your eyes closed, in the comfort of your room, with soft music and scented candles, is pleasant. Feeling gratitude for the future while lying in your bed is accessible. But then, you open your eyes. You get up. And reality hits you in the face with the force of a heavyweight boxer. You open your bank app and see a red number or a balance close to zero. You look in the mirror and see the same fat, the same wrinkle, or the same symptom of illness. You look at the other side of the bed and it remains empty and cold. You go to work and your boss screams at you, or you receive that foreclosure letter or your car won't start. In that precise instant, your irrevocable decree faces its mortal enemy, the evidence of the senses. Your eyes, ears, and touch scream at you. "Liar! You are crazy! Look at this. This is real. What you imagine is a childish fantasy." And under the crushing pressure of facts, your faith breaks. Your vibration plummets. You feel like a fool for having believed in abundance while living in scarcity. This chapter is here to save you in that moment. Today, I am going to teach you the supreme martial art of consciousness, the denial of the senses. You are going to learn that what your eyes see is not the truth, it is only the past. You are going to learn to walk through the physical world like a diver walks on the ocean floor, aware of the environment, but breathing air that comes from elsewhere, from your tank, your inner world. If you manage to master this, if you manage to look scarcity in the face and laugh at it, you will become invincible, because he who does not believe in the illusion of the problem dissolves the problem. The big trap. Your eyes are security cameras of the past. Let's start by dismantling the authority of your senses. We live in a culture that worships empiricism. Seeing is believing. If I touch it, it's real. If I don't touch it, it doesn't exist. But modern science, astrophysics, and quantum mechanics tell us that this is a fallacy. When you look at the night sky and see a star, are you seeing the present reality of that star? No. You are seeing light that left that star millions of years ago. It is very likely that the star has already exploded and died centuries ago, but your eyes tell you there is a bright star. Your eyes are lying to you about the present. They are showing you an obsolete report. They are showing you a ghost. Exactly the same thing happens with your life. Matter is dense and slow. Energy is fast and instantaneous. When you change your vibration today, you make your decree, the energy changes instantly. In the quantum plane 4D, you are already rich. But matter 3D takes time to reorganize to reflect that change, the delay we talked about in Chapter 7. Therefore, what you see today in your bank account is not your current reality. It is the fossilized residue of your thoughts and vibrations from 6 months or a year ago. Your bank account today is a dead star. It is the echo of your old self. If you react to that balance with fear and anguish, you are making a fatal mistake. You are taking data from the past and using it to program your future. You are recycling poverty. The master of the denial of the senses looks at his empty bank balance and says, "Interesting. This is the record of my old consciousness of scarcity. Thank you for showing me what I was, but this has nothing to do with what I am now. This is an echo, and echoes fade if you don't scream at them again." The discipline of non-reaction. The master key of this chapter is a single word: reaction. You do not create your reality through what you see. You create your reality through how you react to what you see. The universe is a giant mirror. If you stand in front of a mirror and have a dirty face, do you try to clean the mirror by rubbing the glass? That would be absurd. The mirror only reflects. If you rub the glass, you only fog it up. To clean the image in the mirror, you have to clean your own face. Your circumstances, debts, loneliness, illness, are the reflection in the mirror. When you react emotionally to them, you are trying to fight with the mirror. You are validating the image. You are giving real energy to an optical illusion. Non-reaction is the act of cleaning your face, changing your internal state, regardless of what the mirror shows at this moment. Imagine that you are an actor in a play. Your role is that of a rich king. But the current set is still that of a dungeon, because the stagehands, the universe, are taking time to change the scene. If you, upon seeing the dungeon, stop acting like a king and start crying like a prisoner, the director stops the scene change and says, "Sorry, I thought you were the king, but I see you react like a prisoner. Leave the dungeon set." But if you, surrounded by damp stone walls and chains, continue walking with your head high, giving orders and acting with the dignity of a king, ignoring the false set, the stagehands will hurry to bring the throne because the incoherence is unbearable. Denial of the senses is not clinical madness. It does not mean you cross the highway without looking because cars are an illusion. That is stupidity. It means you deny the emotional authority of facts over you. You see the bill, fact. You pay it if you can, logical action. But you do not allow it to take away your peace or make you feel poor, emotional denial. You take away its power to define you. The mental diet, stop eating junk. To sustain this stance of power, you need to undergo a strict diet. Not of calories, but of sensory data. Your mind feeds on what you see and hear. If you spend the day watching news about the economic crisis, talking with friends who complain about illnesses, and looking at your body with contempt in the mirror, you are eating vibratory junk food. You are going to get fat with problems. The commander imposes a mental diet. This means becoming extremely selective with what you allow to enter your consciousness. Step 1. The news fast. Stop watching the news, period. The news is an industry designed to keep you in fear, lack, and helplessness. They sell you the lowest possible reality. If something truly important happens, a world war, a meteorite, you will find out anyway. You don't need to inject yourself with fear voluntarily every morning. Step 2. Silence about the problem. Stop talking about your current situation. Every time you tell a friend how bad things are, you are decreeing and solidifying that reality. You are using your word to anchor yourself to the past. If someone asks you, "How are you?" lie if necessary. Or tell a selective truth. "I am in a very interesting process of change. I am managing things and seeing the light." Do not give anyone the pleasure of validating your victimhood. Step 3. The withdrawal of attention. Where attention goes, energy flows. Where energy flows, matter grows. If you have an ugly wart, stop looking at it 50 times a day. Cover it with a band-aid and forget it. By removing attention, you take away its energetic food. It will dry up and fall off. If you have debts, make an automatic payment plan and stop looking at the account compulsively. Take the focus off the whole and put it on income generation. The impartial reporter technique. Sometimes reality is so noisy and painful that it is impossible to ignore it. You are in the middle of an argument, or you have acute physical pain, you cannot simply close your eyes and visualize roses. In those emergency cases, use the impartial reporter technique. Instead of being the protagonist of the tragedy, "Woe is me, this hurts," become a reporter who narrates the facts from the outside without emotional adjectives. Victim mode. "This is horrible. My boss is humiliating me. I'm going to lose my job and starve." Maximum emotional load. Reporter mode. "I am in a room. There is a man shouting. The volume of his voice is high. My heart is beating fast. There is a sensation of heat in my face." Neutral emotional load. Describe the raw physical facts without the dramatic interpretation. By removing the label of horrible, unjust, or tragic, you take away the poison. You turn it into a series of neutral data, and neutral data has no power to create negative karma. This technique allows you to walk through hell without getting burned, because you dissociate from the identity of the victim and place yourself in the identity of the observer. Walking by faith, not by sight. There is a biblical phrase that summarizes this chapter perfectly. "For we walk by faith, not by sight." 2 Corinthians 5:7. Forget religion. Analyze it as pure metaphysics. Walking by sight means reacting to external stimuli, the 3D world. It is the animal mode of survival. You see a lion, you run. You see food, you eat. Walking by faith means reacting to internal stimuli, the 4D world. It is the divine mode of creation. You don't see the path, but you know it's there, so you take the step. The greatest challenge for the commander is maintaining loyalty to the invisible in the face of the pressure of the visible. It is like being the captain of a submarine. You are underwater. You see nothing outside. Everything is darkness and pressure. You only have your navigation instruments, your intuition, and your decree. Your eyes tell you, "We are blind." Your fear tells you, "We are going to crash." But your instruments say, "Heading 90 degrees, path clear." Whom do you obey? If you obey your eyes' fear, you stop and sink. If you obey the instruments' faith, you move forward and reach port. Ignoring reality is not denying that the wall is there and hitting your head. It is denying that the wall is permanent. It is knowing that, with the right frequency, the wall can be transformed into a door. The revision, rewriting the immediate past. Neville Goddard left us a nuclear tool for the denial of the senses. The revision. What do you do if you've had a terrible day? What do you do if you've been fired, or you've fought with your partner, and reality has won the emotional battle against you? Do you go to sleep feeling bad, allowing that terrible day to be imprinted on your subconscious and generate more terrible days tomorrow? No. You edit the day. Before sleeping, review your day in your mind. Reach the moment of conflict, the argument, the bad news, and rewrite it. Imagine it exactly as you would have liked it to happen. Instead of seeing your boss shouting at you, visualize him congratulating you or giving you neutral news. Instead of seeing the debt letter, visualize a zero balance letter. Repeat this new version in your mind until it feels real, until it displaces the original memory. But that is lying to oneself, screams your logic. Yes, and it is exactly what we want. Remember, the past does not exist. Only the neuronal record of the past exists in your brain. If you change the record, you change the signal you emit. If you fall asleep with the revised, positive version, your subconscious receives the order, "Today was a good day." And tomorrow it will bring you fruits of a good day. Revision is the eraser of karma. It is your divine right to say, "I do not accept this reality. I correct it." The daring of controlled madness. A point will come in this journey where people will call you crazy, or at least delusional, dreamer, or denialist. They will tell you, "But don't you see the country is sinking? Why are you so calm? Come back to earth." When they tell you that, smile. It is the best sign you can receive. It means you have decoupled from the collective mind of panic. It means you have stopped being a sheep that bleats when the wolf howls. To be called crazy by the sleepers is the greatest compliment for the awakened. Sanity in a sick world is sickness. Adapting to a deeply unhappy and scarce society is not mental health. You are practicing a controlled madness. You know perfectly well what happens outside. You are not stupid, but you deliberately choose not to let it affect you. You are like an adult at a children's Halloween party. You see the monsters. You see the children crying in fear. But you don't cry. You know they are costumes. You know it's a play. You stay calm and enjoy the party because you know none of it is real in the ultimate sense. Your 3D reality is just a temporary costume of energy. Don't be afraid of the costume. Don't respect scarcity. Don't kneel before the diagnosis. Don't tremble before loneliness. They are shadows, and shadows cannot hurt you unless you give them the power of your fear. The double man, inner versus outer. The Apostle Paul said, "Though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day." You are two men or two women. The outward man lives in the world of the senses. He ages, pays bills, gets tired. The inward man lives in the world of imagination. He is eternal, rich, young, and powerful. Conflict arises when you let the outward man dictate the rules to the inward man. The irrevocable decree reverses the hierarchy. The inward man gives the order. The outward man obeys and executes. When you look at your reality and you don't like it, withdraw to your inward man. Close your eyes. Enter your sanctuary. There in your imagination you are free. There you have the money. There you have the love. Live there. Inhabit there. Enjoy there. And when you open your eyes and return to the outside world, bring the perfume of that place with you. Do not let the outside world extinguish your inner light. Let your inner light illuminate the outside world. Persistence in this inner vision, despite external evidence, is what hardens the wax of the seal. At first, external reality will fight. It will try to scare you. It's like taming a wild horse. It will buck. It will try to throw you, but if you stay firm in the saddle without fear, without reacting to its kicks, the horse, reality, will get tired. It will surrender, and finally, it will obey your reins docilely. 3D reality has no will of its own. It only has the will you lend it. Stop lending your will to disaster. Lend it to your vision, and you will see how mountains of granite turn to dust at your feet. Chapter 9. Inspired Action vs. Forced Effort. Welcome to the friction zone, Commander. You have issued the decree. You have sealed the feeling. You have ignored reality. And now you are sitting on your sofa, staring at the ceiling, with a question drilling into your brain. Now what? Do I stay here waiting for a bag of money to fall down the chimney? Or should I go out and work 18 hours a day? This doubt has killed more dreams than fear itself. We live in a society addicted to doing. Since we were children, we have been programmed with beliefs of blood and sweat. If you want something, it will cost you. You will earn your bread with the sweat of your brow. No pain, no gain. We have been taught that the value of a result is directly proportional to the suffering it cost to achieve it. If it was easy, we are suspicious. If it was hard, we applaud it. But the irrevocable decree operates under a law higher than the law of sweat. It operates under the law of least effort, or law of universal economy. Look at nature. The grass does not strain to grow, it just grows. Fish do not suffer to swim, they just swim. The earth does not work hard to revolve around the sun, it simply rotates, driven by invisible forces. In this chapter, we are going to resolve the eternal conflict between action and attraction. You are going to discover that you don't have to become a passive statue, but you don't have to be a beast of burden either. There is a third way, an elegant, efficient, and lethally effective way, inspired action. The lie of sacrifice, the cult of suffering. Let's start by tearing down the altar of sacrifice. Most people believe that the universe, or God, is a sadistic accountant keeping a record of your pain. They believe that if they suffer enough, if they sacrifice enough, the universe will say, "Wow, this human has suffered a lot. They have earned their prize. Give it to them." Commander, listen to me well. The universe doesn't give a damn about your sacrifice. The universe does not pay you for your effort. It pays you for your vibration. You can work 20 hours a day in a coal mine, sweating and bleeding, and you will still be poor if your vibration is one of scarcity and struggle. You can work 2 hours a day doing something you love, flowing and laughing, and become a millionaire if your vibration is one of abundance and deservingness. Forced effort, the struggle, is, vibrationally speaking, a declaration of mistrust. When you feel you have to push the river, you are saying the universe is incompetent. That pushing energy generates a counterforce of resistance. For every gram of brute force you apply against reality, reality applies a gram of resistance against you. It is Newton's third law, action and reaction. If you push life, life pushes you back. And life is stronger than you. You will get tired. You will break. Inspired action does not push. It navigates. It uses the current. It does not try to move the water. It sets the sail so that the wind, the spirit, moves the boat. Anatomy of forced effort, survival mode. How do you know if you're acting from fear or from inspiration? The body never lies. Let's analyze the energy signature of forced effort. Origin, born from fear. If I don't do this, something bad will happen. Or lack, I have to get money because there isn't any. Physical sensation. Tension in the shoulders, clenched jaw, short breath, knot in the stomach. Mental sensation. Noise, hurry, anxiety, I have to, I should. Perception of time. Time becomes eternal. You are looking at the clock, wishing it would end. Result, extreme tiredness, burnout, mediocre results, or results that are achieved but lost quickly. When you act from here, you are operating as an internal combustion engine. You burn your own vital energy. You are limited. You exhaust yourself. You are trying to manipulate matter with matter, your hands, your body, your time. It is the slow and painful way. Anatomy of inspired action, creator mode. Now let's analyze the energy signature of inspired action. Origin, born from joy, curiosity, enthusiasm, or a quiet certainty. I feel like doing this. I feel I should call this person. Physical sensation, lightness, expansion in the chest, inexhaustible energy. Mental sensation, clarity, silence, I want to, I am going to, flow of ideas, flow. Perception of time. Time disappears. 5 hours pass and it feels like 5 minutes. Result, magical synchronicities, doors that open on their own, exponential results with minimum effort. When you act from here, you are operating like a solar panel. You don't burn your energy, you channel infinite energy from the sun, the source. You don't push, you are pushed. It is the fast and pleasant way. The bridge from the invisible to the visible. Here is the metaphysical key. Action is the bridge through which energy becomes matter. You do not act to make the result happen. The result is already created in 4D. You act to receive the result. You act to be in the right place at the right time for the package to be delivered to you. Imagine you have decreed, I am a best-selling author. The book already exists in the quantum field, but if you don't sit at the computer and put your hands on the keyboard, the book cannot download through you. Your action of writing does not create the story. Your action opens the channel for the story to pass through. If you sit down to write with fear, I have to finish this or I won't pay the rent, you block the channel. Forced effort, the book will be bad. If you sit down to write with joy, I'm dying to tell this story, you open the channel. Inspired action, the book will be a success. Action is not the cause of success. It is the delivery mechanism. The concept of the nudge. How do you know when to act? You don't have to make a 5-year strategic plan. That is mental. You have to learn to listen to the nudge, the little push, the hunch. The universe rarely gives you a full map with GPS. The universe gives you a flashlight that only lights up the next 3 meters. It tells you, call John. You think, John, why? I haven't seen him in years. It makes no sense. That is your logical mind blocking intuition. The commander obeys the nudge. He calls John. And it turns out John is having lunch with an investor who is looking for exactly what you offer. The nudge is usually irrational. It doesn't follow a linear A-B logic. Sudden, it appears out of nowhere while you shower or drive. Persistent, if you ignore it, it comes back. It's a soft idea that won't leave you alone. Neutral or positive, it doesn't feel like a military order, do it now, but like a suggestive invitation, what if we do this? Your only job is to be attentive to those subtle impulses and act on them immediately. Inspired action has an expiration date. Energy is like fresh bread. If you don't eat it today, tomorrow it is hard. If you feel the impulse to call, call now. If you wait until tomorrow, the John might not be with the investor anymore. The rule of 1% you and 99% universe. Here is a mathematical proportion to calm your anxiety about doing things. In the co-creation of reality, your work is 1%. Define the what, decree, maintain the state, feeling. and take the first physical step, inspired action. The work of the universe is 99%. Organize coincidences, move people, manage resources, align times, and bring the how. The problem is that you try to do the universe's work. You try to control the how. You try to manipulate people. You try to force doors. That is exhausting and impossible. You do not have the processing capacity to coordinate 8 billion variables. The universe does. Your 1% is moving the first domino piece. The 99% of the universe is the chain effect that knocks down all the other pieces. If you try to knock down all the pieces yourself with your hand, it will take an eternity, and you will knock them down wrong. Just push the first one. Take the step in front of you. Just one. And trust that by taking that step, the next will light up. What if I don't feel any impulse? The art of active waiting. Sometimes after decreeing there is silence. There is no nudge. There are no hunches. You don't feel like doing anything. Your ego panics. Do something. Time is passing. Commander, if you don't have a clear signal, do nothing. Stay still. Inaction is better than the wrong action. If you act out of desperation, you're only going to create a mess that you will have to clean up later. You're going to muddy the water. Neville Goddard said, "Do nothing that you do not feel natural. If it is natural to rest now, rest." Sometimes the universe needs you to get out of the way so it can work. Imagine you call a plumber to fix a pipe. If you are on top of him all the time, touching the tools, asking questions, the plumber will get fed up and leave, or it will take twice as long. The best way to help the plumber is to go to another room and let him work. Your confident in action says, "I trust you." That trust accelerates the process. Take advantage of those periods of silence to take care of yourself, to raise your vibration, to enjoy. You are not being lazy. You are being strategic. You are accumulating potential energy for when the moment of kinetic action arrives. The trap of doing to get versus doing because you are. Let's go back to Chapter 4, Identity. There is a subtle but vital difference in the motivation for action. Action of the beggar, doing to get. I do this because I want to obtain a result. I write the book to earn money. This action comes from lack. I don't have. Action of the king, doing because I am. I do this because it is who I am. I write the book because I am a writer and I have something to say. I go to the gym because I am a healthy person and I love my body. This action comes from identity. I am. The paradox is that the action of the king is what produces massive results precisely because it does not seek them desperately. When you act from your identity, your action is pure. It has no energetic hooks of need. It is magnetic. People are attracted to your work because they feel your love in it. Ask yourself before acting, am I doing this to get something I lack, or am I doing this to express who I am? If it is the former, stop, recalibrate, go back to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. If it is the latter, go ahead, you have the green light. The lighthouse does not chase the ships. I'm going to give you an image to engrave in your mind. You are a lighthouse. Your desire, opportunities, people, money are the ships in the dark sea. Have you ever seen a lighthouse detach from its foundations, run along the beach, and swim into the sea shouting at the ships, "Hey, look at me, come to me"? No. If a lighthouse did that, it would be chaos. The ships wouldn't see it, they would crash. The lighthouse does only one thing: stay still and shine. It rotates its light with a constant rhythm. Its action is being light. Its action is being visible. And by doing that, the ships inevitably navigate toward it. Your inspired action is to keep your light on. Your main action is vibratory. Yes, you have to maintain the lighthouse, take care of your body, learn skills, but you don't have to chase the ships. If you shine with the intensity of I am, opportunities will hit you. You won't be able to shake them off. The myth of massive action. Many success gurus preach massive action. Make 100 calls a day. Sleep 4 hours. This works, yes, but it works by raw statistics and Newtonian force. It is exhausting and lacks elegance. It is like trying to knock down a door by headbutting it. You will succeed, but you will end up with a headache. The irrevocable decree prefers sniper action. Instead of firing 1,000 bullets into the air to see if you hit something, massive action, the commander takes his time, breathes, aims, feels the wind, intuition, and fires a single bullet, inspired action, and that bullet hits the target. One well-made call at the right moment, to the right person, is worth more than 1,000 cold calls to strangers. An inspired idea executed in 2 hours is worth more than 2 years of mediocre work. Massive action is for those who do not believe in magic. Inspired action is for magicians. Do not confuse movement with progress. A horse on a carousel moves a lot but goes nowhere. You are looking for progress, not sweat. The litmus test. Does it expand you or contract you? To finish this chapter, I leave you with an instant compass tool. When you have to make a decision for action, do I go to that party? Do I invest in this course? Use your body as a compass. Think about the action and feel. Do you feel expansion? Chest opens, feeling of lightness, curiosity, a soft yes. Do you feel contraction? Stomach closes, feeling of heaviness, obligation, fear, a dull no. Always follow the expansion, even if it makes no logic. Sometimes expansion will tell you stay at home when logic says you should go network. Stay at home. Maybe at the party something bad was going to happen, or maybe at home you will receive the key call. Your body knows things your mind ignores. The nudge always feels expansive, even if it is a bit scary, the good kind of fear of adventure. Forced effort always feels contractive. Commander, stop being a slave to action. Become a master of the flow. Move only when the spirit moves you, and when it moves you, do not doubt. Run, fly. Inspired action is the dance of God on earth. Now that you know how to move, a final danger arises, the danger of leaking the energy. Many decree, feel, and act, and then ruin everything by opening their mouths and telling it to the wrong people. Chapter 10. The silence of the magician. Do not dissipate the energy. Welcome to the bunker, Commander. We have reached a critical point of the operation. You have learned to decree with authority. You have ignited the nuclear reactor of your emotion. You have pacified your subconscious. You have learned to ignore reality and move by inspiration. You are charged. You are vibrating high. You have a wonderful secret gestating in your spiritual womb. You feel that you are going to explode with emotion. You feel that the miracle is so real that you have to share it. And here is where you make the fatal mistake. You go and tell your best friend. You tell your mother, you post it on Facebook. You say, you're not going to believe it. I'm going to start $1 million business. I feel like my ex is coming back. I've discovered the secret of the universe. And in the precise instant those words leave your mouth, you feel something strange. Like a balloon deflating, the internal pressure disappears. The electric emotion drops. Suddenly, your friend looks at you with a face of skepticism and says, well, be realistic, the economy is bad. Or your mother says, son, don't get your hopes up, then you take the hit. In that moment, the miracle has died. You have aborted it, not because they are bad, not because the universe is cruel, but because you have violated the law of hermeticism. You have opened the pressure cooker before the food was cooked, and all the steam necessary for the cooking has escaped through your mouth. In this chapter, we are going to learn the most difficult discipline for the human ego, closing your mouth. Or, we are going to learn why silence is not just discretion, but an indispensable energy containment mechanism for materialization. The magician does not talk about what he is going to do. The magician does it and lets the result speak for him. The physics of the pressure cooker, why you need the steam. To understand the damage you do by speaking, let's go back to thermodynamics. Imagine an old steam locomotive. For that machine of tons to move, you need to generate immense pressure inside the boiler. The water boils, turns into steam, and the steam wants to get out. If the boiler is hermetically closed, the steam has no escape. It accumulates. The pressure rises. The rivets groan. And that accumulated energy, unable to escape, seeks the only available exit, pushing the piston that moves the wheel. Containment generates movement. Now imagine that the engineer, excited to see so much steam, opens an exhaust valve and starts blowing the locomotive's whistle. Woohoo! Look how much steam I have. The steam shoots out into the air. It makes a lot of noise. It's spectacular. But the pressure inside the boiler drops. There is no longer force to move the piston. The locomotive stays still, wrapped in a cloud of white smoke, making noise but without advancing even a millimeter. You are the locomotive. Your decree and your emotion are the boiling water. Your silence is the closed boiler. When you keep your desire in secret, you generate a psychic tension. You feel a kind of internal itch, a positive anxiety, a crazy desire for it to happen. That tension is the steam seeking an exit. If you shut up, that energy has no choice but to push the piston of 3D reality to manifest as a physical fact. But if you talk, you open the valve. You release the tension through words. By telling someone, your brain receives a microdose of dopamine. You feel momentary relief. Your ego feels validated because someone heard you. But you have spent the energy. You have converted the power of manifestation into sound waves. You have traded a future fact for a present conversation. It is a bad deal. The vampire of validation. Why do we speak? Why is it so hard to shut up? Why do we feel that compulsive need to tell our plans, our dreams, and our decrees? It is not out of generosity. It is out of insecurity. Deep down, a part of you still doubts. Your saboteur, chapter 3, whispers to you, "What if this doesn't work?" To calm that doubt, you look for external allies. You look for validation. You tell your plan to your friend, hoping that he will say, "Wow, what a great idea, surely you'll get it." You look for him to believe in you so that you can believe in yourself. You are using others as crutches for your own faith. The problem is that people rarely give you the validation you seek, and even if they give it, it is cheap validation. The commander doesn't need anyone to tell him that his plan is good. He knows it. The commander knows that his vision is a private gift between him and the universe. No one else has the glasses to see what he sees. Expecting others to understand your vision is like expecting a blind person to describe a sunrise. They cannot. And if they try to describe it, they will tell you it's dark and cold because that is their experience, not yours. By speaking, you are confessing your weakness. You are saying, "I don't have enough faith of my own. I need to borrow yours." And the universe, seeing that weakness, stops the process. The observer effect, quantum interference. Quantum physics gave us the famous double-slit experiment. This experiment demonstrated that subatomic particles, the raw material of reality, behave differently when they are observed. If you don't look at them, they act as waves, infinite possibilities. If you look at them, they collapse and act as particles, fixed matter. When you keep your decree in secret, there is only one observer, you and the universe. You are observing the possibility of success. You are collapsing the wave into success. But when you tell your skeptical brother-in-law, you invite a second observer into the equation. Your brother-in-law looks at you and thinks, "This dreamer is going to crash." Now there are two observers looking at the same wave. You look at success, he looks at failure. A wave interference occurs. His doubt, which is real and measurable energy, clashes against your faith. If his conviction that you are going to fail is stronger than your conviction that you are going to triumph, he collapses your wave. His observation contaminates your experiment. Do not invite hostile observers into your laboratory. Do not let anyone put their dirty eyes on your newborn baby. Your dream is a fetus in gestation. It doesn't have an immune system yet. Any virus of outside doubt can kill it. Protect it in the darkness of the womb until it is born. The evil eye, envy as energy. Let's talk about something that ancient metaphysics knew well and that modern science is starting to intuit. Envy. I'm not talking about grandmother's superstitions. I'm talking about psychic arrows. Envy is a form of concentrated hatred. When someone is envious of you, it is not passive. They are emitting an active frequency. They are unconsciously decreeing, "I hope it doesn't work out for him, because if it does, I will feel inferior." The sad thing is that this envy often comes from those closest to you. Your success threatens their comfort zone. If you become a millionaire or happy, they are left without excuses. Your light highlights their darkness. Out of an instinct for ego preservation, they prefer you stay where you are. They love you, but they want you doing well, not doing better than them. When you tell them your big plan, you activate their defense system. You activate their envy. And that envy is like a headwind. Can you manifest with a headwind? Yes, if you are very powerful, but it will cost you triple the energy. Why make the path harder for yourself? Why give weapons to the enemy? Silence is your shield of invisibility. If they don't know what you're doing, they cannot attack it. If they don't know what your next move is, they cannot trip you up. Move in the shadows, be a spiritual ninja. Let no one know where your success comes from until it is already impossible to stop it. Tell no one the order of Jesus. There is a fascinating pattern in the Bible. Every time Jesus performed a miracle, healed a blind man, cleansed a leper, he gave them a strict and immediate order. See that you tell no one. Matthew 8:4. Why? Why did the most powerful man in history, the one who came to preach the truth, ask for secrecy? Wasn't publicity good for him? Jesus did not ask for secrecy out of humility. He asked for secrecy because of metaphysical physics. He knew that the recently performed miracle was fragile. He knew that if the leper ran off to tell the skeptical priests, their doubt could reverse the healing. Jesus sealed the miracle with silence. Go show yourself to the priest, physical action, but do not talk about the how, mystical silence. If the Master of Masters understood the need for hermeticism, who are you to go trumpeting your little miracles before their time? Learn from the Master. Do the work, shut your mouth. The exception, the mastermind, the master alliance. Does this mean you must live in absolute solitude and never share anything with anyone? No, there is an exception to the rule. Napoleon Hill discovered the concept of the mastermind. It is possible to share your vision, but only with people who are vibrating at your same frequency or higher. If you have a partner, a mentor, or a spiritual friend who understands the law, who doesn't judge you, who isn't envious, and who is capable of holding the vision with you, to that person you can tell it, because that person will not act as a hostile observer. They will act as an amplifier. Their faith will add to your faith. If two of you agree on earth about anything they ask, it will be done for them. Matthew 18:19. The key is to agree. Not to argue, not to doubt, to agree. But be honest with yourself, Commander. How many people like that do you have in your life? Probably one or none. Most people around you are sleeping civilians. Do not tell your war strategies to civilians. They will not understand them and will tell you it's dangerous. If you don't have a trusted mastermind, your best ally is silence. Better alone than in bad vibratory company. The art of the vague answer. The time will come when people will ask you. They will see you differently. They will see you focused. They will see you smiling for no reason. Chapter 10. They will ask you, what are you plotting? What are you into? This is where you must master the art of ambiguity. Do not lie, but do not reveal. Learn smoke phrases. I'm working on a very interesting personal project. I'll tell you about it when it's ready. I'm exploring new options. Everything is going very well. I'm focusing on myself for a while. These phrases shut down curiosity without opening the door to your laboratory. You give them a bone to chew on, but not the meat. Protect your mystery. Mystery is attractive. Mystery generates respect. When you are an open book that tells everything, people lose respect and feel they have the right to have an opinion on your life. When you are a closed book, people intuit that you have power. Be an enigma. Containment as character discipline. Silence doesn't just protect your manifestation, it also forges your character. It takes titanic willpower to have bombshell news and not let it out. That willpower is spiritual muscle. Every time you feel the impulse to speak and you consciously repress it, you are recycling that energy inward. You become denser, more magnetic, more substantial. People who talk a lot are usually light, volatile. Their energy is dispersed. Quiet people who hold their cards generate a gravity of their own. When they enter a room, it is noticed. The universe respects gravity. By practicing the silence of the magician, you are becoming someone capable of holding great amounts of energy without breaking. You are demonstrating that you are a worthy container for power. If you cannot contain the news that you are going to win 1,000 euros, how do you expect to contain the energy of 1,000,000? The 1,000,000 would destroy you. You would go crazy, you would spend it, you would shout it. Silence is your training for greatness. When is the seal broken? The moment to speak. When can you speak? There is only one safe moment, when the result is already an irreversible physical fact. Do not speak when you have the idea of the business. Speak when you have signed the contract before a notary and the money is in the bank. Do not speak when you meet someone special. Speak when you live together. Do not speak when you decide to lose weight. Speak when you have lost 10 kilos and they ask you what you have done. Speak from the result, not from the plan. The result is solid. Envy bounces off the result. If you are already rich, envy doesn't take your money. But if you only plan to be rich, envy can prevent you from arriving. Furthermore, when you speak from the result, your testimony has power. You inspire others. Look, I did it. This is how it works. Speaking before is presumption. Speaking after is testimony. Be a testimony. Emergency protocol, the zipper technique. Commander, I know the temptation will be strong, especially when things start to move, synchronicities, and you get excited. Here is your protocol for when you feel your mouth exploding. 1. Identify the impulse. 2. Stop. Do not do it. Put down the phone. 3. Transmute the energy. That anxiety is pure creative energy. Use it. Write it in your personal diary. Paper, not digital. Paper holds the secret. Sit down and visualize your final scene with more intensity. Pour that gasoline into your internal motor, not into the air. Do an inspired physical action. Chapter 9. Work on your project in silence. Tell yourself, my silence is my power. Silence is gold, the word is silver. We have come full circle. We started saying that your word is law, Chapter 1. And now we finish saying that your silence is the guardian of that law. There is no contradiction. The word creates, inwardly in private decree. Silence protects, outwardly in the social world. Use your word to command the universe. Use your silence to confuse the world. Be the magician who works in his high tower. No one knows what mixtures you are making in your test tubes. They only see the colored smoke, and finally, the gold that comes out the door. Now that you have learned to seal your energy, one crucial final step remains. Chapter 11, Shielding the Decree. How not to cancel your order. Welcome to the Watchtower, Commander. We have come a long way. You have learned to issue the command, word, to charge it with power, emotion, to align the crew, subconscious, and to keep your mouth shut, silence. The missile has been launched, the target is locked. However, there is a sad statistic in the world of metaphysics. 90% of well-launched decrees are self-destructed mid-flight by the user themselves before they reach their destination. How is this possible? Imagine you are in a luxury restaurant. You call the waiter and say with a firm voice, I want the filet mignon medium rare. The waiter notes the order and goes to the kitchen. The chefs begin to prepare the meat. 5 minutes later, doubt hits you. You call the waiter shouting, No, wait! Better bring me a salad. No, actually nothing. I'm not hungry. The waiter stops, confused. He goes back to the kitchen. He throws away the steak. He starts the salad. 2 minutes later, you shout again, No, I want the steak again. What is going to happen? By the end of the night, you will have eaten nothing. The cooks will be furious, the waiter exhausted, and you frustrated and hungry. And you will probably blame the restaurant, saying, The service here is terrible. They never bring me what I ask for. This is what you do with the universe every day. In the morning, you decree wealth, steak. At noon, you see a bill and decree poverty, salad. At night, you feel alone and decree, Nobody loves me, nothing. You are constantly issuing counter-orders. In this chapter, we are going to learn to shield the decree. We are going to install a security system that prevents your momentary fears, your bad days, and your visceral reactions from cancelling the sacred work you have done. We are going to learn to keep the command firm even when the building shakes. The anatomy of the counter-order. The universe is literal and obeys the last command entered. If you spend 15 minutes visualizing your success, you have entered the command success. But if you then spend 8 hours worrying about failure, you have entered the command failure, repeated 300 times. The law of vibratory averages says the dominant vibration wins. And unfortunately, fear is usually more dominant than hope, because it has millions of years of biological evolution in its favor. A counter-order is not always an explicit phrase like, I cancel my desire. A counter-order is usually a deep sigh of resignation, a conversation of complaints with a co-worker, or a recurring thought, or perhaps a desperate action born of fear. Every time you do this, You are cutting the power cord of your manifestation. The universe stops the construction and asks, "What's the verdict? Do you want the house or do you want the fear of not having a house?" I cannot give you both at the same time because they are opposite frequencies. Shielding the decree means creating a mental structure where fear can enter, but it cannot touch the master controls. It means learning to have a bad day without having a bad life. The purge, when chaos is a good sign. The first thing you must understand to not cancel your order is the phenomenon of the purge or healing crisis. Often right after launching a powerful, irrevocable decree, everything breaks. You decree perfect health, and the next day you have fever and vomiting. You decree unlimited wealth and your car breaks down and a fine arrives. You decree divine love, and your current partner leaves you or you have the worst fight of the year. Your ego screams, "Alert! This is not working. We are going backward. Cancel the decree. Return to safety." And that is where most people give up. But you, Commander, must know the truth. Chaos is the evidence that the decree is working. If you decree order, the universe has to pull out the disorder that was hidden under the rug. If you decree health, your body has to expel toxins to clean itself. If you decree wealth, the universe has to destroy your old precarious financial structures to make room for the new. You are not getting worse, you are detoxing. It is like cleaning a messy closet. To organize it, you first have to pull everything out. For a while, the room looks like an absolute mess, worse than before, but it is a necessary step for the final order. If you get scared by the disorder of the purge and cancel the decree, you are left with the mess and without the result. When you see chaos, smile and say, "Thank you, universe. I see you are taking out the trash. I see you are demolishing the old. It means the construction of the new has begun. I maintain my order. Keep cleaning." Protocol 1, the 90-second rule, managing the wave. We all have moments of weakness. We are human. The problem is not feeling fear or anger. The problem is staying to live there. Neuroscientist Jill Bolte-Taylor discovered something fascinating. The half-life of an emotion in the body is 90 seconds. When something triggers you, your brain releases a chemical cocktail of stress hormones. Those hormones run through your bloodstream, cause the physical reaction, heat, tension, racing heart, and then they dissolve. The process lasts a minute and a half. If you are still angry after 90 seconds, it is no longer physiological, it is psychological. You are consciously choosing to rethink the thought to re-inject the drug. The surfer's technique. When the emotional counterorder, panic, arrives, look at the clock. Tell yourself, "I have 90 seconds of chemical storm. I am not going to make any decisions. I am not going to speak. I am not going to think. I am just going to feel. Feel the wave, let it shake you. Breathe. Do not judge it. Wait. At 90 seconds, you will notice the intensity drop. The peak has passed. In that moment of relative calm, reaffirm your decree. The storm has passed. My order still stands. I am what I decided to be." If you manage to surf the wave without drowning in the mental story, you cancel nothing. Your divine intention remains intact. Protocol 2, the verbal antidote, cancel erase. Words are bullets. Sometimes a shot slips out. You are tired and say, "I'm fed up, my life is crap, I'm never going to get out of this." Bang! You have fired a high-caliber counterorder straight into your future. What do? Do you blame yourself? No. Guilt is another low vibration. You apply the immediate antidote. The universe has a small buffer of time, a small latency. If you correct quickly, you can neutralize the effect. The moment you hear trash coming out of your mouth, stop dead. Say out loud and with authority, "I cancel, erase, and destroy that statement." Visualize those words turning into gray smoke and disappearing. Immediately insert the opposite affirmation with double strength. "The truth is that I am in a process of great blessing, and everything is resolving in my favor now." Do not underestimate the power of saying, "I cancel." It is an editing command for your subconscious. If you are fast, the damage is zero. The danger is letting the complaint settle and take root. Cut it at the source. Protocol 3, the nightly revision, the jewel in the crown. This is, without a doubt, the most powerful maintenance technique ever taught. It comes from Neville Goddard and is the secret to having a clean past and a bright future. The problem with bad days is that you go to sleep with the vibration of the bad day. Your subconscious cooks that vibration for 8 hours. To break the cycle, you must use the pruning shears of revision. The past is not fixed. The past is memory. And memory is present imagination. You can change your vibratory past right now. The technique. At the end of the day, in bed before falling asleep, review your day like a movie, from morning to night. Identify the scenes you didn't like. Rewrite the scene. In your imagination, live that moment again, but change it to be exactly how you wanted. If your boss yelled at you, imagine he congratulated you. If you received a debt letter, imagine it was a check. Repeat the new scene in your mind until you feel relief. Sleep with that feeling of victory. By doing this, you are erasing the negative vibration of the day. You are not changing historical facts, but you are changing the energetic effect of those facts on your future. You are preventing today's poison from infecting tomorrow. You are shielding your decree. Your subconscious will receive the order, everything went well, and it will work so that tomorrow everything goes well. It is a mandatory daily spiritual hygiene cleaning. The myth of toxic positivity. Shielding the decree does not mean living in a bubble of toxic positivity. It does not mean smiling falsely when your soul hurts. It does not mean saying everything is wonderful when your house is burning. That is psychotic denial and generates a huge shadow that will explode later. The commander practices magical realism. Acknowledge the emotion. I feel sad, I am afraid, but deny it the authority to dictate the future. I feel sad today. I allow myself to cry. But I know this sadness is temporary and that my decree of happiness remains in effect. My current mood does not change my final destination. You can have a crappy day and still be rich in consciousness. You can be crying and still know that you are loved. Faith is not the absence of fear. It is the certainty that persists despite the fear. Do not punish yourself for having negative emotions. Punish yourself if you stay to live in them as an excuse to quit. Feeling fear does not cancel the manifestation. Believing the fear and acting accordingly does. The isolation bunker. Protection in crisis. There will be moments when doubt is so strong that you feel incapable of controlling your mind. You feel like you are going to explode and ruin everything. In those cases of nuclear emergency, activate the bunker protocol. When you are drunk with fear, do not touch the machinery. Do not make decisions. Do not talk to anyone about your project. Do not try to visualize. You will do it wrong. You will visualize monsters. Do not try to fix anything. Simply shut down. Go to sleep. Take a nap. Watch a silly movie that distracts you. Go for a walk and look at trees. Your only goal is to distract the conscious mind so it stops putting its dirty hands into the dough of the subconscious. Tell yourself, today I am not in a condition to be the commander. I am closing the office for today. Tomorrow I will open again. By withdrawing your attention, you stop the energy bleed. It is better to do nothing than to do harm. The universe is smart enough to hold your desire for a few hours while you recover. It is not that fragile. Rest. Tomorrow is another day. The physical anchor, the totem. In the movie Inception, the characters use a totem, a physical object, to know if they are dreaming or in reality. You need a totem to know if you are in truth or in fear. Choose a small physical object, a stone, a ring, a special coin. Charge it with your intention. Hold it in your hand while you're at your best peak of high vibration and say, "This represents my irrevocable decree. This is solid certainty." Carry it always with you. When the world collapses around you, when fear attacks you, put your hand in your pocket. Touch the totem. Feel its cold, hard texture. Let that touch remind you, this is real. My promise is solid. Fear is smoke. This is rock. Use it as an anchor to return to the center. Sometimes in the middle of a panic attack, touching something physical that you have programmed with peace can pull you out of the loop instantly. The mindset of this or something better. Sometimes it seems the decree is cancelled because you don't receive exactly what you asked for in the way you asked for it. You asked for John and John married someone else. You asked for the job at Google and they didn't hire you. Your mind says, it failed. It was cancelled. Here is the final shield, the divine safety clause. At the end of each decree, mentally add, this or something better. The universe has a broader perspective than you. Sometimes you ask for a car and the universe says no because it has a helicopter ready for you. If you obsess over the car and cry because it doesn't arrive, you block the helicopter. If John left, it's because John was not the perfect alignment for your I am love. Someone better is coming. If Google didn't hire you, it's because your own company will be bigger, or there is a better position elsewhere. Never consider a no as a rejection. Consider it as a redirection. The irrevocable decree is not a whimsical demand for details. It is a demand for essence. You decree the essence: wealth, love, health. The universe chooses the best container. If the container breaks, don't cry. The essence is intact. The oath of loyalty. Commander, maintaining the decree is an act of loyalty. Not loyalty to an external god, but loyalty to your own word. If you said you were going to be rich in your mind, even when you eat white rice. If you said you were going to be healthy in your mind, even when your body hurts. That stubbornness, that divine obstinacy is what bends reality. Reality is a soft substance. Your will is a hard substance. If you hit the soft with the hard long enough, the soft gives way, always. Do not cancel your order. The package is in the truck. The driver is looking for your house. Do not move now. Do not turn off the porch light. Wait with confidence. Now, to close this circle of power, we are missing the final state. The state that doesn't just attract, but multiplies. The state that turns waiting into pleasure and lack into instant abundance. Chapter 12. Living in the It Is Done. Anticipatory gratitude. Welcome to the mountain peak, Commander. Look down. Look at the path you have traveled. You have learned that your voice is a chisel that carves reality. You have learned that your emotion is nuclear fuel. You have descended into the hells of your subconscious to pacify your crew. You have learned to be as silent as a magician. You have learned to move like a ninja. You have shielded your mind against fear and doubt. Now you stand before the golden door. Behind that door lies your materialized desire. There is the money in the bank, the love in your bed, the health in your cells. But the door has no knob, it has no lock, it cannot be pushed. The door cannot be broken down by force. It only opens to a specific frequency, a vibratory password that acts as a universal master key. That password is a simple, ancient, and devastatingly powerful phrase: "Thank you, Father, because you have already heard me." In this final chapter, we will study the supreme state of consciousness. We will learn to live in the It Is Done. We are going to discover the mystery of anticipatory gratitude. Most humans live in reactive gratitude. They give thanks after receiving the gift. That is just good manners, not magic. The commander lives in creative gratitude. He gives thanks before receiving the gift. That is power. That is what forces the universe to manifest the gift, so as not to appear as a liar before your certainty. The time reversal. Remembering the future. To understand anticipatory gratitude, you must break your linear conception of time. You believe that time is a straight line, past, present, future. You believe that first the event, cause, occurs, and then gratitude, effect, follows. But in the quantum field, time is a circle. Everything happens simultaneously in the eternal now. When you give thanks for something that has not yet happened in the physical world, you're doing something fascinating on a neurological and quantum level. You are remembering the future. You are traveling with your consciousness to the timeline where the desire already exists. You are capturing the emotion of that reality, gratitude. You are bringing it back to the present. The universe, which operates by resonance, receives your signal of intense gratitude and says, "Wait a moment. This human is emitting the signal of thank you for the $1 million. The thank you signal is only emitted when the transaction has been completed. There is a dissonance. I look at their bank account and it is empty. There is an error in the matrix. And to correct the error, to restore the balance between your vibration, thank you, and your reality, void, the universe is forced to fill the void at the speed of light. Your gratitude is not the consequence of the miracle. It is the mold that the miracle fills. The cosmic restaurant example. Imagine you go to a very exclusive luxury restaurant. You make a reservation for 3 months from now. You call on the phone. The receptionist tells you, "Confirmed, table for 2 on August 15th. You respond, "Thank you very much." You hang up the phone. You feel happy, you feel grateful. You even tell your partner, "Thank God I got a table." Let's analyze this. You haven't eaten yet, you haven't gone to the restaurant yet, you haven't paid yet. There are 3 months left. However, you are already giving thanks. Why? Because you trust the promise. You trust that the reservation is a binding contract. You know the table will be there. You don't call the restaurant every 10 minutes asking, "Are you sure the table is there? Are you sure you'll feed me?" You give thanks in advance because you take the fact for granted. The irrevocable decree is your reservation in the restaurant of the universe. You have made the order. You have received the internal confirmation. Now your job is to live the 3 months of waiting in a state of gratitude. Not an anxious gratitude, "I hope they give me the table," but a relaxed and secure gratitude, "How well we are going to eat on August 15th. Living in the "it is done" is to walk through life with the calm arrogance of one who has a confirmed reservation. The chemistry of reception, the state of grace. Let's talk about biology. What happens to your body when you feel genuine gratitude? The HeartMath Institute has shown that gratitude creates the most perfect, measurable state of heart coherence. Your brain waves and your heart rate synchronize. Your body stops producing cortisol and starts producing DHEA and immunoglobulin A. But the most important thing is what happens to your electromagnetic field. When you are in fear or lack, "I need money," your field contracts. You become small, dense, repellent. When you are in gratitude, "Thank you for the money," your field expands. It becomes toroidal, enormous, magnetic. You become a giant satellite dish. You are now in reception mode. It is physically impossible to receive a high-frequency transmission, wealth, love, if your antenna is configured to low frequency, complaint, need. Gratitude tunes the dial. It puts you on the frequency of the solution. It is impossible to worry and give thanks at the same time. Try it. You can't. They are opposite neural circuits. At the moment you say "thank you," worry dies, fear dissolves. Gratitude is the universal solvent of resistance. Lazarus's tomb, Jesus' secret. Regardless of your religious beliefs, Jesus of Nazareth was the greatest metaphysical master in history, and his most impressive miracle, raising Lazarus, contains the ultimate lesson on anticipatory gratitude. Analyze the scene. Lazarus is dead. He has been in the tomb for 4 days. He smells bad. 3D reality says it's impossible. People are crying. Doubt is absolute. What does Jesus do? He does not ask, "Please God, resurrect him if you can." He does not plead. He does not doubt. He stands before the closed tomb and says, "Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me." John 11:41. Stop right there. Nothing has happened yet. Lazarus is still dead inside. The stone is still in place, but Jesus gives thanks in the past tense, that thou hast heard me. He has already seen the end in his imagination. He already lives in the "it is done." And only after giving thanks does he give the order, "Lazarus, come forth." And the dead man comes out. This is the correct order of manifestation. Vision, decree, anticipatory gratitude seal the pact. Materialization. The dead man comes out. You usually do it the other way around. First you wait for the dead man to come out and then you give thanks. That is why your dead, your dreams, remain in the tomb. You have to give thanks in front of the closed headstone. You have to give thanks in front of the zero bank account. That irrational gratitude is the force that removes the stone. The mystical Sabbath, the warrior's rest. In Hebrew mysticism, the 7th day is the Sabbath, Shabbat, the day of rest. And on the 7th day God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the 7th day. Genesis 2:2. Why did God rest? Was he tired? No. Omnipotence does not get tired. He rested because the work was finished. Living in the "it is done" is entering your personal Sabbath. It means you stop fighting, you stop manipulating, you stop forcing. You don't stop acting, inspired action, but you stop acting from anxiety. You reach a point of faith saturation. You feel so deeply that your desire is yours that you no longer feel like asking for it. You relax. You have a glass of wine, you enjoy the sun. Many confuse this state with apathy or resignation. I don't care anymore. It's not that you don't care about the result, it's that you've stopped worrying about the process. It is divine indifference. When you reach that point, boom, at that precise instant, the manifestation occurs. Because you have released the last resistance, the need. Practice the gratitude blitz. Commander, I want to give you a tactical tool to induce this state at will. When you feel low, scarce, or fearful, perform a gratitude blitz. It is a mental saturation technique. Put on epic or inspiring music. Start walking through your house or the street. Start giving thanks for everything you see at great speed. Don't think, just fire. Thank you for my shoes. Thank you for the floor. Thank you for the air. Thank you for my lungs. Thank you for the sun. Thank you for that tree. Thank you for the color blue. Thank you for electricity. Continue for 5 minutes. Pick up the pace. Feel how the energy rises. And suddenly, in the middle of that torrent of gratitude for the present, insert your decree as if it were already there. Thank you for my new car. Thank you for my iron health. Thank you for my $1 million account. Thank you for my perfect partner. Thank you for this coffee. Thank you for my hands. Mix it all up. Confuse your brain. Your logical brain surrenders to the speed. It stops distinguishing between what is real, shoes, and what is decreed, millions. Because you are feeling real gratitude for the shoes, that same emotion washes over the decree for the millions. You deceive the guardian of logic. You will feel invincible. The paradox of possession, having it to not need it. Here is the great irony of the universe, the final cosmic joke. You can only receive what you no longer desperately need. Need repels. Gratitude attracts. When you live in anticipatory gratitude, your emotional body feels that it already has the desire. And if you already have it, you no longer need it. You are no longer hungry. You are full. And it is precisely when you are vibratory full that the universe serves you the physical banquet. The universe is like a bank. It only lends money to those who prove they don't need it. If you demonstrate that you are happy without the physical desire, the universe gives it to you. Why? Because you have demonstrated mastery. You have demonstrated that your happiness does not depend on matter. You have demonstrated that you are a creator, not a victim of circumstances. And to the creator, everything is given. Living in the it is done is to walk through the world without hunger. You look at the shop window of life and say, "How beautiful! It is already mine on the quantum plane. It will arrive at my house when it's time. Meanwhile, I keep walking happily." That attitude is irresistibly magnetic. People will want to be with you. Money will want to be with you. Abundance loves abundance. The morning anchor, starting the day winning. How do you maintain this state in a world full of bad news and complaining people? You need a starting ritual. The most important moment of the day is the first 5 minutes upon waking. At that moment, your ego is still half asleep. Your victim self hasn't put its pants on yet. It is your opportunity to hijack your day. Before looking at your phone, before thinking about problems, before getting out of bed, say, "Thank you," just that word, and look for 3 things to give thanks for from the future. Thank you for the wonderful news I'm going to receive today. Thank you for the smile someone will give me today. You are pre-paving your day. You are sending your invisible stewards ahead of you to clear the path and prepare the surprises. If you start the day in anticipatory gratitude, you put on magic glasses. During the day, your brain will unconsciously look for the things you gave thanks for, and it will find them. The identity of the grateful. Let's return to Chapter 4, Identity. Gratitude is not something you do, it is something you are. Become a grateful person. Don't be the person who always finds the fly in the soup. Be the person who always finds the flavor in the broth. The grateful person is invulnerable. If you insult them, they say, "Thank you for teaching me patience." If they lose money, they say, "Thank you for the lesson and for the space for something new." If it rains, they say, "Thank you for watering the plants." You cannot defeat someone who transforms everything into a blessing. It is pure alchemy. When you become a grateful person, the universe falls in love with you. The universe is generous and it loves giving gifts to those who appreciate them. To whom do you prefer to give a gift? To the child who complains it's not the color they wanted, or the child who jumps for joy? Be the grateful child of the universe. Closing the circle. You are the decree. Commander, we have reached the end of the theoretical teaching. We started with the word. We passed through emotion. We subdued logic. We acted with inspiration. We kept silence. We shielded the mind. And now we seal it all with gratitude. When you integrate these 12 steps, a transubstantiation occurs. You stop being a person who makes decrees. You become the living decree. Your mere presence alters reality. You enter a room and the atmosphere changes. People feel better by your side without knowing why. Plants grow better in your house. Money lasts longer. Traffic lights turn green. It's not luck. It's that you have aligned your microcosmos with the flow of the macrocosmos. You no longer have to struggle to manifest. You manifest by default. Your natural state is creation. Your breathing is an act of magic. You have remembered that you are the creator experiencing himself. The "it is done" is not a technique. It is the ultimate truth of existence. In the mind of God, everything already exists. Everything is already perfect. Everything is already given. Your only job is to take off the blindfold to be able to see it. And gratitude is the hand that removes the blindfold. The final invitation. I invite you, Commander, to live the rest of your life in a permanent surprise party. Walk knowing that around the corner there is a gift with your name on it. You don't know what it is. You don't know what the wrapping looks like. But you know it is good. You know it is yours, and you know you're going to love it. Walk with that silly smile on your face. The smile of one who knows a secret. When people ask you, "Why are you smiling if you have problems?" you will respond, "I smile because I have already seen the end of the movie." And you're not going to believe it, but the ending is spectacular. We win big. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. It is done, it is finished. Conclusion, the signature of the King-Queen. You have reached the end of this audiobook, but if you have listened with your heart and not just your ears, you will know that you haven't reached an end. You have arrived at a starting point. The person who heard the introduction a few hours ago no longer exists. That person was a seeker, a beggar of circumstances, someone who waited for life to happen to them. You, who listen to me now, are the commander. You are the architect. You are the conscious operator of the most sophisticated machinery in the cosmos. You no longer have the excuse of ignorance. You can no longer say that you are a victim of bad luck, the government, your family, or the economy. Now you know the codes. You know that your word legislates. You know that your emotion attracts. You know that your imagination is the workshop of God. You know that silence protects and that gratitude seals. The blindfold has fallen. And with clear vision comes absolute responsibility. The universe is out there holding its breath, waiting for your next instruction. It does not wait for your doubts. It does not wait for your complaints. It does not wait for your "I hope." The universe awaits your signature. Imagine yourself right now holding a golden pen. Before you unfolds the infinite parchment of your future, it is blank, virgin, waiting to be written. Do not tremble. Do not hesitate. Do not look back seeking anyone's approval. Approach the paper and sign with your new name. I am. Sign with the authority of one who knows they cannot fail because the law does not fail. Sign with the divine arrogance of one who knows they are one with the source. Sign with the peace of one who has already seen the end of the movie. Go out there. Walk through the physical world, through that valley of shadows and mirages, but walk without fear. When you see scarcity, laugh and decree abundance. When you see illness, smile and decree health. When you see loneliness, love yourself and decree companionship. Do not bow before reality. Make reality bow before you. Your life is no longer an accident. It is a deliberate work of art. Take command. Occupy your throne. Govern your mind. And always remember, in moments of darkness and in moments of glory, your will has been heard. Your order has been processed. Your desire has been granted. The decree is irrevocable. It is done. It is finished.